What is ripping the pimps, the players, the hustlers, the people that bust them, and everybody else in between? Let's do this thing. The Thursday night throwdown has begun. We are officially at the half. And, of course, in a game in which we expected absolutely nothing to happen, it's been a motherfucking track meet, all right? We've got the Jamaican 4x100 relay team running around out here in Santa Clara this evening. 24-13 at the half right now. Second half number, San Francisco 49ers minus a half a point. Total 20 and a half. Welcome to the Thursday night throwdown. We appreciate those of you joining us right off the top here. We got a treat for you right off the top. It is halftime, so let's get right down to business right now and bring in a man who's fucking scorching right now. All right, this guy's hot, man. Hotter than the strippers over at the Spearmint Rhino in the city that he joins us from right now in Las Vegas, Nevada. VegasInsider.com's Paul Bovi steps up and in. Paul, it's always a pleasure, my man. Thanks for joining us off the top of the program here.
Hey, it's great to be here, and I heard you tore that Rhino up a couple weeks ago, Gabe, because I went in there. They said there was this bald guy from Buffalo that was throwing like it was water, wearing a what was it from the Joe DeLamalure jersey.
Yeah, exactly. The electric company. And yeah, no, it's a lie because I don't have money to be thrown around like water, and neither does anybody from Buffalo. People from Buffalo are going to the OG across the street from the Stratosphere, which is actually a pretty fine establishment, I might add, and much cheaper. Stay away from the Rhino, stay away from Treasures and those type of Sapphire and all those places. Go to the OG. It's old school. You know a place called the OG. The OG Gardens won't steer you wrong. So I appreciate it, Paul. You're kicking it in Las Vegas right now. Live in Los Angeles. You bounce back and forth. What happened to your condo? Didn't you used to have a condo in the Sky place next to Circus?
I do. Actually, it's in Panorama, and I rent to some $1 million buy-in poker player. Hey, Gabe, I just want to tell you something about Buffalo. Snowstorm of 76 or 77. I was there. Buried up to my eyeballs, and I made it out of there alive, and I'm thankful of that to this day.
All right. Someone says they can't see your video. I got Paul's video here. Big man on campus, like, what's up with these Vegas guys? And they don't want to show the faces. No, Paul went out of his way. We got great video. Big man on campus, is he the only one that can't see Paul's video? Because I see Paul's video. I see Paul's video fine. Yeah, we see him. Bruce Judd says we see him now. All right, well, was there a problem out of the gate there? All right. Oh, there he is. Yeah, I guess the video wasn't on out of the gate. I could see it, but I don't know what's up with that, man.
I was tweezing my eyebrows, Gabe, and I was covering the camera, actually. So I'm sorry about that, guys. No, I'm just kidding.
All right, so Paul is on fire, no kidding aside, and Paul's not one to pat himself on the back, but he's on a 6-0 run right now, documented over at VegasInsider.com. We spoke earlier in the week about this football game. You said you liked the over of this game. You thought the total was a little bit low. You're not afraid to buck the public on this. And listen, you live in LA, so you get firsthand knowledge of this Rams team. And you've been riding the Rams overs. I remember in week 1 you liked the Rams over. And here they are again, very efficiently moving the ball up and down the field tonight.
I think the Rams actually have a very underrated offense. I really didn't like the over enough to post it just because I didn't have a lot of confidence in Bobby Hoyer. 292 yards offense in terms of passing his first 2 games. So, and by the way, the 49ers have the bad news bears version in the NFL of receivers. They have 2 guys who came into this year starting who have no catches, and besides Pierre Garçon, who's very concussion prone, that's a very hard way to go into the season. So I wasn't leaning towards the over so much just because of San Francisco, but I was leaning to the Rams team total under, and I did play it. Over.
All right, we're going to get to Seattle in a second because you have to wonder, holy fuck, you've got the Rams going up and down the field on these guys. Carolina didn't go up and down the field, but nevertheless was very effective, and Seattle just couldn't do anything. And Seattle was playing on their home field. But let's check in with the second half number again. And, the number was posted, guys, right before we came on the air. I pulled the trigger on over 20.5 in the second half. San Francisco 49ers are minus a half point, plus 105. Rams plus half a point, minus 125. Total 20.5, Paul, and both you and I thought it would probably go up to 21. It hasn't. San Francisco is going to be forced to play from behind, so they're going to have to throw the football. They're moving the football a bit, but they're shooting themselves in the foot in the process with fumbles, penalties, sacks, etc. And I don't think the Rams are going to let up. McVay's a pretty aggressive play caller. Yeah, I like the over 20.5 here in the second half. What do you think?
Well, it's probably the right direction, Gabe, but I didn't play the game itself over. So in my opinion, my way of going, once the train has left the station, I let it go, and I don't try to jump on board midway. So I'm going to sit with my Rams team total over, which is already in the bank, and I'm going to be happy with it. But, yeah, both teams well over 100 yards passing. They've only punted once apiece. So it suggests all things point to going to the high side.
Now, as far as 24-13, I said to you before, now the players are on the field right now, second half set to kick off. I said, San Francisco's got a shot to get back in this thing. And you said, no, I don't think so. That was 24-13, and San Francisco had the ball. And I thought maybe they could get a last-second field goal to end the half, but they took a big sack. Now, I gave you guys the long field goal prop earlier in the day. Cash it, motherfuckers. And in fact, there's been more than one of over 45.5 yards, so we hit that. We also jumped on. We tweeted out. We gave on the radio show tonight. I said, grab the sack prop over. That was 4.5. We're only at 3 sacks right now. Feels like there's been more, but there's been a sack or two that's been nullified by penalties. So the second half is set to begin. I like the over here in the second half. So, Paul, have you started digging into Sunday's card yet?
Oh, yeah, Gabe, I'm on some numbers already. I'm happy with my positions, and I'm going to add more.
It's one of these weeks that I'm a little bit worried because I like a lot of games. And like you, we had a good weekend last week, 5-0 in one of our super contest entries, 4-1 with another one of our entries. And I like the games coming into this week. The games that I like the most, actually, love the Raiders against the aforementioned Washington Redskins. Kirk Cousins just doesn't win big games. And you look at the Redskins' failures on their home field as of late, and, we can go over the track record, losing a home opener to Philadelphia, losing a Monday nighter to Carolina last year late in the season when it could have gotten a playoff spot, losing the last game of the year to the Giants, a Giants team that wasn't playing for anything, losing that home playoff game to the Packers 2 years ago. The Washington Redskins don't have a big track record of winning these football games, and I like the fact there's no letdown for the Raiders. The Chiefs are 2-0. The Broncos are 2-0. They're competing for a division title. They can't let up. I like the fact that the Raiders avoid the early kickoff start. It's a Sunday night contest, nationally televised football game. I like the Raiders. It's a public opinion, but I like the Raiders, Paul.
Gabe, I'm kind of torn on this game. It's not going to be a game that I'm going to be on unless I go to the over. Look, the Raiders have led up, I believe, I'm not sure how many touchdown passes, but is it 4 or 5 this year? And they're known to have defensive lapses. Look, Kirk Cousins has not been great this year. The offense is stagnated. But if you're going to get healthy, you're going to get healthy at home against the Raiders. And this is a perfect spot for it. So maybe this is a little bit of hope as opposed to reality kicking in. But I do believe the Redskins will have success against the Raiders, moving the ball up and down the field.
All right, so what were some of the games that caught your eye? The other ones that caught my eye, Baltimore Ravens, it's now up to 4. Those 3.5s were pretty sweet. It's up to 4 right now, Baltimore versus Jacksonville in London. The Denver Bronco game is an intriguing one. The Broncos have looked really good, but it's their first road game. Buffalo's offense is, Buffalo's offense is bad, Paul. Jordan Matthews never got in sync. He got injured his first practice. Zay Jones might be good down the road, the kid out of East Carolina, but he's not ready to be a starting wide receiver in the NFL right now. So the offense is predicated on Tyrod Taylor making plays and LaShawn McCoy running the football. McCoy had a hard time against Carolina running the football last week. And, Denver's defense is going to travel well. I just wonder, there's a little voice like the Flintstones, the Green Gazoo, telling me, Trevor Siemian. Is Trevor Siemian going to play well, or will Trevor Siemian fall flat against a pretty damn good Buffalo Bill defense?
Look, Gabe, if the Bills are going to win this game, and I do believe they're going to compete, it's going to be an ugly game, 16-13. Now, I will give the Denver Broncos credit in this area because if you look at the receivers of the San Diego, damn. I'm saying Washington Bullets. All right, this is going to take me a while.
All right. Don't worry about it. I've said it about I don't know if I've called them LA cleanly once yet this time. I've done San Diego, LA. I've done that a million times, trust me.
All right. They really stifled the Chargers receivers in the first game. Keenan Allen, Chargers really couldn't do anything substantial. Then they came back and repeated the effort against the Dallas Cowboys, relegating Trevor Siemian's responsibility to just being a game manager. And that's exactly what he did. He has 450 yards passing in the first two games. He has not lit it up. And I just believe what you said is correct. Buffalo's offense is not good. They exploited the Jets in game one. McCoy had nice numbers. Tyrod Taylor, nice numbers. But in game two, in the first half, they didn't even have 25 yards of offense versus Carolina. They picked it up in the second half on the last couple drives, finished with about 250. This is not going to be a high-scoring game, barring players sitting out for injuries. Buffalo has a few key guys that are kind of sketchy there. But I believe they will play, and I believe you'll see a very low-scoring game. I took the only 41 in town at CGX, CGM, whatever you call it, and it's now sitting at 40, and I think it goes under, Gabe.
Yeah, Buffalo Bills, Denver Broncos should be a low-scoring game. I can't disagree, although I always get fucked when I bet on unders. I teased this game barely to the under, but I hit San Francisco in this game. Speaking of hitting, Jared Goff just hit Sammy Watkins with a bomb. Hell of a pass and a great catch. Too bad we couldn't do this in Buffalo. So Watkins makes a big play. This could be a big start for our second half over of 20.5 here. First down, 2nd and 9 for the Rams on the 11-yard line. Complete pass right now. We got a third down coming up from about the 8-yard line. So what other games catch your eye? Paul, you said you're liking the board this week. What are you looking at?
Hit me with games. Just throw a game at me.
Right, so yeah, I'll tell you the games that I like. So I mentioned the Denver-Buffalo game. I like Denver. I do agree it's a low-scoring game. Buffalo are different at home. It's a tough place to play. But I think Trevor Siemian is better than people give him credit for. A game that freaks me out as far as the number is concerned is the Cleveland Browns being road favorites. I liked what Brissett did last week. Now he's got another week with the number ones of practice to prepare. The Cleveland Browns are 1-19 in their last 20 road games.
I'll tell you, Gabe, I like the over in this game. I think it's a short number. Kaiser, 3 interceptions last week. They were moving the ball somewhat. And I will cover that Jacksonville game because I do like the Jaguars, which feeds into that. But I think that Indy's defense is poor. Carson Palmer threw for well over 300 this week. I think he was 19-36. And mind you, he's using substitute receivers because Brown is out. David Johnson, who is a major part of the offense. I think he was 30-some-odd% of the offense last year. He was the leading receiver in the first game, along with Larry Fitzgerald before he went down with an injury. He's out as well, and still Arizona moved the ball with relative ease. And I'm of the opinion that Carson Palmer at this point needs to retire. At 37, his best days are behind him, and he's not productive anymore. And I just think these two teams will go down the field. Believe it or not, at 41, it's a short number, and I think this game will go to the high side.
I like your style. And that's not a popular pick that everybody's looking at. So you just mentioned Carson Palmer. I was dead wrong about him. In the last 5 games of the season last year, Paul, he had 11 touchdown passes and 3 interceptions. He stopped throwing the footballs on Wednesdays. In the offseason, he didn't throw the football as much as he used to. They don't practice him as much, and they were talking in training camp about all the zip that he had back on the football. Well, he must have blown all the fucking zip like a Buffalo Shriner at the Spearmint Rhino, because there ain't no fucking zip against the Detroit Lions. You mentioned he threw the ball around with backups and, less than stellar weapons against the Indianapolis Colts, which, leads me into the Cardinals and the Cowboys game. And I know it's the Cardinals home opener, Monday Night Football. But the air has to be taken out of the Cardinal fan base, knowing that David Johnson's out. They're not dumb. They see the writing on the wall right now. They see the way Carson Palmer's playing. Kerwin Williams had like 22 yards in his place. You have a Dallas Cowboy football team right now coming off their first humiliating loss in the Dak and Elliott era, Paul. How do you think the Cowboys are going to bounce back?
I think the Cowboys are just a much better team. They're on a different plane, and I do think they will bounce back. Hey, Gabe, this is a short number. In my opinion, it should be more than 3. So how do you read into that? Is it opportunity, or is it something that you should sniff out and say, why is the number so short? Well, I'm going to go with the fact that the Dallas Cowboys, and I say fact, in my opinion, they are just a better football team. They've had some injuries on defense, but I think you will see a bounce back here, and they're going to score some points, and they are going to make Arizona keep up with them. So if they can't keep up with them, Dallas is going to win this game. Dallas is going to score 27 points.
I think Dallas are going to be in a bad mood as well. And one thing, Dallas have always been a good road team. All right, they got punched in the mouth. San Francisco's playing some defense here. Lucky if it's not a penalty on San Francisco. Motherfucker on San Francisco has got away with a serious facepalm right after the play. I'm really surprised they didn't call it. I swear, if this game wasn't about to be a blowout, they would have called that. That's the old let's just keep this within reason, because it would have been a new first down. I've seen a hell of a lot less called. So it's 4th and goal right now, 24-13. Looks like the Rams are pussying out. Wow. I would have went for it. What do you do there, Paul? 24-13. I'm surprised they're kicking a field goal. You're on the 1-yard line. I just would have punched it in at this point.
No, I think if you punch it in, you will completely take the air out of them and end the game, because then you put them 3 scores down. And by the way, with respect to the calls reflecting what's on the scoreboard, Donaghy calls that reffing the score, which he claims is very pervasive in the NBA. And I'm sure there's a little spillover into the NFL as well.
All right. Somebody's saying, come on, Gabe, what? I think Gabe has clicked, is Paul drinking Jameson? No, I don't have to do anything. What up, Joe Lacey? I don't have to do anything. Anyone knows, I'm not touching anything. Usually one person talks, the other person's video comes up. That's the way it works, guys. All right? There's no producing. It has to be done. I don't know why his video cuts in and out. Is his video up right now? Your video, like I said, I see it. No, let's see. Yeah, I see it right there, Paul. There you are. I don't know. You know what? I can't pay attention in one per 2 people in the chat. Do you motherfuckers see Paul? Yes or no? Oh, you're only looking at Bovi, you're saying. You guys fucking complained. Before you couldn't see Bovi. Oh, you're saying I'm not up. All right. Holy fuck. It never fucking ends. Are you happy now? There. All right, Paul. So you said Jacksonville. And this one surprises me a little bit. I was wrong about Jacksonville in week 1. I didn't think they were going to show up and punch Houston in the mouth in the fashion that they did. And then last week, like an idiot, I jumped on the Jacksonville Jaguars. And they get rolled by the Tennessee Titans. So I've been a day late and $1 short with the Jags so far. And I just don't see, I'm interested and curious to see your take and how and why. How and why the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to win this game.
Well, Gabe, after the Jaguars annihilated the Houston Texans, everybody was drinking Jaguar Kool-Aid last week when they were home to Tennessee, and they completely fell apart. Why? On the strength of turnovers. Yes, Allen Robinson's loss, that was devastating. They still have some decent receivers, Hearns, to name one of them. And here they take on a Ravens team with a very lackluster offense. Joe Flacco is combined for 335 yards in his first 2 games. The running game, shade less than 300 on 4 yards a carry. Look, they benefited by Kaiser throwing 3 interceptions last week. Cincinnati, the first week, absolutely no offensive line. If you don't give the game away to the Ravens, these contests are going to be tight. And to give Jacksonville 3.5 points here, if Jacksonville plays the kind of football they're capable of, and the caveat is they don't turn the ball over with frequency, they're going to stay in the game or they're going to win it. And they have been to London before. So for them, this is not a new experience. That's the thing, though, to me, in which, you have one team that has a big propensity to turn the football over against a team that has a propensity to create a lot of turnovers, Paul. And, it's no coincidence. They find a way to do it. They find a way to do it on a weekly basis, the Baltimore Ravens. They did it against Andy Dalton in week 1. They did it against the Browns in week 2. I'm not even sure how good the Baltimore Ravens really are. I mean, that first game was handed to them by Andy Dalton. And then the second game, they played the Cleveland Browns at home in Baltimore. But I think they find another favorable schedule matchup here for them against Jacksonville. I like the Ravens in this game. I just find it too much of a leap of faith to take Jacksonville here. Look, he's got no receivers over there. Mike Wallace has disappeared. Jeremy Macklin's best days were 4 years ago, and I don't think he's lived up to expectations. Their leading receiver last week was Benjamin Watson. Now, when a tight end is the leading receiver and it's not Travis Kelce or Gronkowski, I'm very concerned. And I'm concerned with this offense, and I really don't think they can put a lot of points on the board. So when offenses don't put a lot of points on the board, I'm willing to grab more than a field goal with the dog here that I think will play inspired football, and I'm going to go in that direction, especially taking 4. All right, here is this game. I want to get your take on this one. And is it a trap? Because it's the Chiefs. Are the Chiefs ready for a letdown here? And not a letdown, but now the Chiefs have to win on the road by 3 points. The Chargers are snake bitten, but the Chargers just historically find a way to lose. I do like the Chiefs in this football game. I think the Chiefs are a complete football team, and I think the Chargers just do find ways of losing. But can you lay 3 points on the road with the Chiefs here? Well, Gabe, the Chiefs have been a little bit lucky, and the Chargers have been a little bit unlucky. The Chiefs could easily have been down 14-0 in that first game, if not for a penalty that was a questionable call. And then Danny Amendola goes out of the game with 7 catches for 100 yards, and New England's offense falls apart. All I'm going to say is in game 2, the Chiefs last week, and I was on them. I laid 4.5 points. I was on the square side, and the square side prevailed. But the Eagles were in that start to finish, and I honestly believe that the Chiefs are ripe for a pick in here against a team that arguably could have won both games. They're keeping this field goal kicker who is 1 for 4 on the year. You got to do better than that. And I think everybody, including you, is down on the Chargers, and they are going to rise up, and they're going to go to 1-2, and the Chiefs are going to fall back to 2-1, and I'm going to grab 3.5 if I could get it. All right, a very, very interesting football game this week. The Seattle Seahawks and the Tennessee Titans. And I think the most used phrase tonight amongst football bettors has been, what the fuck? Look at the LA Rams going up and down the field against this San Francisco defense, and Seattle couldn't. We saw Seattle struggle out of the gate in week 1 against the Green Bay Packers, and then conversely, we saw the Falcons go up and down the field on them. Now, the Falcons are the lead offense, but nevertheless, Seattle has played 2 teams that we've seen get lit up by the other teams that they played. You know what I mean? Like, Green Bay gets lit up by Atlanta. San Francisco's defense getting torched on their home fucking field by the Rams here. And Seattle struggled to put the ball in the end zone against the Packers and against the San Francisco 49ers. It's down to 2.5. It looks like there's a little buyback with Seattle right now.
I don't trust them. And I almost break this game down to a very simplified format. We have Pete Carroll getting points versus Mike Mularkey, who might be the worst coach in the NFL.
Gabe, if we had a look-ahead line, if we had the benefit of having that at our disposal, I'm not sure what it was, meaning what was the number before the season started on this game? I'm going to say Seattle was a 2 to 3 point favorite on the road. So here we go. There's a 5-point flip, which means you're really not getting any value if you're taking Tennessee, and the books may be overreacting slightly. But to that point, Seattle's offense has looked putrid. As I said before the Green Bay game, Russell Wilson, 41 sacks last year. They did not do anything to address the problems inherent in the offensive line, which only had them gain about 460 yards by their leading rusher last year on 4 yards a carry. So I am troubled with Seattle, but yet can I lay 3 points against them? Probably not. So this is a game where I'm just going to sit back, watch, and see what happens.
What do you make of the Saints? Actually, I'll ask you about the Giant game. Aren't you a Giant fan, or weren't you a Giant fan?
I am a Giant fan. I have season tickets. I've gone to games forever, and
you still have season tickets. So what do? You sell them online now, or you give them away?
I sell them. I let my brother take care of it, and I just hope he dumped them before Monday night's debacle. Look, he didn't dump them before the Cowboy game, which would have been the best move. But now we're in deep. You know what? I know I can say it, but I don't want to say it, Dave.
So how do you think, and now we're going to have a debate whether this was a catch in a football movement. It's not a fucking catch. Stop wasting our time. All right, 2nd and 10 right now. They're on the 22-yard line. San Francisco needs a touchdown to respond here. They're able to run the ball. And as I say that, they get stuffed on 2nd and 10, setting up a must-pass situation. So, everyone's going to pile on right now, Paul. There's a couple of games, I almost want to fade. I can't take the Giants, though. I don't trust them. We talk about Seattle with that offensive line, yet it's hard with the Mularkey stuff. You're getting Russell Wilson, 13-3-1 as an underdog in his career. Pete Carroll as an underdog is a great coach as well. There's a lot of trends there. But so you get the Giants. They're a desperate football team, and the number keeps going up. So people, obviously, the public and the squares are obviously pounding the Philadelphia Eagles here. The Giants look fucking terrible on Monday night, yet I'm not ready to lay the points here. I might take a look at the over in this football game, because I think the Giants defense is getting worn out, and I think the Giants offense can only get better. I'm not ready to lay 6.5, and I'm not ready to take 6.5, but I know you're a Giant fan, so I wanted your take on this one.
Gabe, I think the Giants are situated perfectly playing in Philadelphia as opposed to at home, where they're going to feel pressure and the boo birds will come out. But I happen to agree with you on this over, and it has a lot to do with injuries, because Janoris Jenkins did not practice today. He is not coming back. That is a big loss, because when the Giants were beaten for that touchdown the other night, it was against Eli Apple. It would have been Jenkins there, and chances are it would have never happened. Philadelphia also, 2 key injuries. Darby is out. He was out this past week, but the safety, McLeod, is out, who had 83 tackles last year. That's going to be a key loss, and I don't think he's going to play. I just think the Giants' offensive line will come together. I'm a little concerned there because the right tackle was questionable for the other night. He went out of the game with an ankle injury. Hart, will he play this week? I don't know, but I still think the Giants will get better protection, and you will see some points in this game. I like the over, Gabe.
And son of a bitch, San Francisco getting stuffed repeatedly on the goal line here. It's amazing to me these teams don't have a trick play, gadget play, bootleg run. Carlos Hyde is sort of dancing around instead of just fucking going right up the middle here. This is going to be a frustrating situation if they don't punch this in. 4th and goal, they go right up the middle again. Looks like he got it in there.
Oof.
Touchdown, 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 touchdown. And as a Carlos Hyde fantasy owner, I take it. Touchdown. And as somebody that has San Francisco, come on, man. Give us that fucking miracle comeback tonight. All right. 75-yard scoring drive, 3 minutes and 37 seconds taken off the clock. We got a football game. Joe Lisi. Is this the real Joe Lisi or someone impersonating Joe Lisi? I don't think Joe would be trolling me about stupid of me for taking a thing. I guarantee. I think we got a fake Joe Lisi in the house, guys.
Joe Lisi? I know Joe.
Yeah, you know Joe. Joe's a good guy. I don't think Joe would be trolling me about a Monday night teaser. I don't think Joe Lisi doesn't care about the NFL. Like I said, the night it was Floyd Mayweather fighting, I don't think Joe knew. He was watching the Rice-Stanford game. He's all college. I love Joe. He's all college all the time. All right. So, yeah, it's a dangerous game, I just find, for Philadelphia. It's one of those that seems too good to be true. And there's another one in a similar vein, dude. Am I fucking crazy for thinking the Green Bay Packers are a big trap and that people are going to take the Packers in survivor pools? And I fucking think the Bengals can beat them. I really do.
Gabe, you got to show me something. And I can't make bets based on hope. In other words, I hope the Cincinnati Bengals are going to take care of their issues and right their wrongs. I can't.
But they don't have a ton of wrongs. Their big wrong is their quarterback. So you're right. It's a leap of faith that, you know, I can't dispute that. You're hoping that Andy Dalton doesn't play like Andy fucking Dalton.
That's the offensive line, Gabe. I don't care who it is. I don't care if you put Tom Brady back there. If you're not getting blocking, that is the cornerstone of any offense, are the guys up front, the guys in the trenches who block for you, and they're not getting that. Now, I consider that a failure of the offensive line coach, and that trickles down certainly to Marvin Lewis. You got to put pieces in place to protect your quarterback and get your running game going, because if you don't do that, nothing else is going to work.
All right, another similar situation in which I don't know if they've showed us a lot. A lot of people like them last week. I didn't, and I'm referring to the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans Saints getting the points going into Carolina. You know, I made this argument in this point earlier in the week, Paul. Carolina's 2-0, and their defense has played great. You can't take it away from them. They've given up 2 field goals in 2 games. They played San Francisco. They played Buffalo. New Orleans Saints are 0-2. I said it from day one. People are going to underestimate the loss of Willie Snead and what Willie Snead means to this football team. And Michael Thomas learning to be the number 1 wide receiver for the first time. But nevertheless, my point is, they opened up at Minnesota on Monday Night Football. Not a lot of teams are winning that game, Paul. All right? Not a lot of teams are winning that game on Monday Night Football in Minnesota. They played the New England Patriots last week, who fucking had 10 days rest and were coming off for a humiliating loss. You know, if the New Orleans Saints played week 1 at San Francisco and hosted Buffalo in week 2, they're probably 2-0 right now. So I know New Orleans have some issues, and that defense doesn't look much better than it did last year. Nevertheless, it's a division game. The last 3 times they played, every game's been a 3-point game.
Yeah,
the last 4 times they played, it's been close. These 2 teams always play close to the vest. Carolina couldn't score a fucking touchdown last week, Paul, against Buffalo.
Yeah, Gabe, I agree with everything you're saying right now. And what mystifies me about this game is that the total has moved down from 48 to 46.5, because when you look at that beleaguered Saints defense, they've given up 57 completions in 71 attempts to Tom Brady and Sam Bradford. And that is alarming. I don't care what quarterback you're going against here. But when you look at Carolina, their offense hasn't shown up. But if you can't get it going here, and I understand Greg Olson's out, that's a big loss, but they still have Kelvin Benjamin. They have Funchess. These are the guys that can catch the ball, and they ought to be able to move. I don't understand why the number's coming down, but I think Drew Brees, the Saints traditionally have played very well on the road. I think before that opener, they had covered 9 of the last 10, 15 of the last 21. So here they are on the road, catching 5.5, 6 points. I got to go with the points here. I'm going to look for the Saints to actually score some points here, but play a little bit of defense. I think they can hold Carolina to 20 to 23 points, because until I see more out of them, I can't lay points with a team that cannot score.
Paul, we've pretty much hit, we haven't hit every game, but we've hit almost all of them. So what I'll do, I'll just blast through the remaining games on the card here, and you can comment on one of them if you want or not. The Atlanta Falcons, Detroit Lions, a fun game. Falcons laying 3, totals 50.5. The Houston Texans.
Hold on.
Texans.
Don't go anywhere, Gabe. Okay, Detroit, 2-0. Is this a good football team? Stafford threw for 120-something yards. They beat Arizona. And if you ask me, they got very lucky on Monday night running back that punt, which should have never happened if Brandon Marshall just catches that loaf of bread in his arms on the sideline, but he dropped it. And also, they had a couple defenders out, the Giants did. I think Detroit is a highly overrated team. And, under normal circumstances, I would say Atlanta could let down. But Atlanta is trying to make a statement. They have something to prove this year by virtue of that Super Bowl capitulation. And I think they will stay focused, and I think they'll beat Detroit.
It's funny that you say that. We noticed on Sunday night against the Green Bay Packers, when they were up big, they didn't go into a prevent defense. Looks like there's a fumble here. Todd Gurley nearly fumbled before. I don't know. The refs are going to say he's down, or what's the deal on this? No, it looks like the refs aren't saying he's down. No, you got one ref saying he's down. This is the thing with these fuckhead refs. You got one ref saying he's down. You got three other guys looking like they're looking for the football here. So, yeah, they're going to say he's down. And the Rams are already at midfield right now. Unbelievable, this game. So, one more touchdown and we hit the second half over. Let's see. That's a clear fumble. But did Gurley get it back? I guess so. Holy fuck. San Francisco fucked that up. It was a clear fumble. Clear fumble. I'm with you. Listen, Detroit loses that game, Paul. If Detroit, if David Johnson doesn't get hurt in week 1, they lose that game. Arizona were up by 10. They were playing well. They would have won the game. They were freaked out. Their best player gets knocked out of the game. And then they get the New York Giants. The Detroit Lions' weakness has always been that secondary and the lack of the pass rush. They got a pass rush against that piss-poor Giants offensive line going. But no quarterback's really been able to exploit and have the weapons to exploit that secondary. Now the Atlanta Falcons do. And I've been saying this all week, Paul. The fact that the Detroit Lions are 2-0, that gets the Atlanta Falcons' attention. They're playing for home field. The Falcons are on a mission to get home field and make it back to the Super Bowl again. As you stated, they didn't forget that 28-3 meltdown in the Super Bowl. It's a big game. And I just think push comes to shove. Only one of these teams can be 3-0. And I think the Atlanta Falcons are just a much better team.
Hey, Gabe, Detroit has 4 new offensive linemen this year, and their center is injured. He may or may not play. Their running game has not shown up thus far in 2017. And if you don't have a running game, at some point that's going to be exposed. And it will be exposed on Sunday in all likelihood, although the Falcons generally tend to give up yards on the ground. So if they don't have success this week with their running game, they got a problem.
All right, before we let you go, we got New England. New England's laying 14 in this football game. Houston, there's a little part of me that thinks Houston can chew some clock up. Deshaun can run around a little bit. I do like New England in a survivor situation, and that's what I'm considering pulling the trigger with in survivor. I haven't taken the Patriots yet. Looking at the Patriots schedule, there's a few other spots, obviously, but it's a tough survivor week this week, actually. I think New England's worth a look. But what do you make of it with the 14 points? Is it too high?
You're always going to pay up for New England, and the fact that Amendola looks like he's going to play, and Chris Hogan looks like he's going to be back in the lineup, that's certainly going to strengthen your case for New England. But still, 2 touchdowns against a team that can play defense, it's a tough swallow, but hold your nose and press the button if you want.
Well, Sammy Watkins makes a big play. Sammy smelt the – oh, no, that's not Sammy. My bad. Excuse me. I thought it was Sammy, and San Francisco's got a guy injured. Well, Rams are about to punch one in. Jason Dorrington said he's got the Rams in Survivor. Nice play. And Paul Bovi wanted to take the Rams in Survivor. Pretty ballsy to take the Rams in Survivor here, guys. I got to tell you. All right, so what else do we have? What's one game that we didn't hit on? We didn't hit on. Pittsburgh Steelers, Chicago Bears is the one game actually we didn't hit on. And the Vikings and the Bucks, but there's no line for the Vikings and the Bucks game.
And the Jet game.
And the Jet game. All right, that Jet game. I was all over the Chargers last week, the Dolphins last week against the Chargers. I love them. It was a leap of faith to trust Jay Cutler in this spot. But trusting Jay Cutler as an underdog is one thing. He can lose the football game and you can still win your bet. Trusting Jay Cutler to go on the road and win by 6 or 7 points to win your bet, that's a completely other different scenario, Paul. And, Jay Cutler's numbers as a favorite against the spread in his career, it's not pretty, specifically on the road. The Dolphins you had the hurricane. They were waiting in California the whole time. The Chargers played on a short week. Now the Dolphins go back from California, go to Florida for the first time since the hurricane, go to New York. They got a trip to London coming up around the corner. There's just a sort of a lot of red flags to me with the Dolphins here. And even though the Jets are 0-2 against the spread, they are playing hard and they are competing. What do you make of this? Is this a live home dog?
I think it is, Gabe. First of all, the direction I would go with this game would be over. I mean, Phillip Rivers was doing whatever he wanted to do last week at 31 of 39 passing for 300 plus. Keenan Allen, 7 targets, 7 completions. Hunter Henry, 7 of 8. And then you had Melvin Gordon. I think he was also like 8 of 9 or 7 of 8. I don't see that the Dolphins can stop a passing game. Now, the question beckons, can the Jets pass the football? Hey, they're home. They're going to play 3 guys in the backfield, but I still think they're going to move the ball. And the Jets' defense is not good. We saw that, and we covered that. Buffalo, who was stymied by Carolina, was able to own them in the first game. And I think they only had, 10 points at half, and they finished with 21 or whatever it was. But they moved the ball. Tyrod Taylor, I think, was 14 to 26 for 240. He had no problem getting the ball downfield. This game points to over because of 2 bad defenses. But if I was going to decide on the number, I would take the points. You can't lay points with the Dolphins. They're not good enough.
No, you can't. I agree. Jay Cutler laying 6 on the road. Nobody's getting rich doing that. Pittsburgh Steelers are laying 7 on the road against the Chicago Bears. Bears played hard and they played tough in their home opener. I brought up a stat a million times, though. Since 1984, the Bears had only lost 3 home openers by more than 7 points. They competed with the Falcons. It was a tough spot for the Falcons to be in on the road after the Super Bowl loss. They handled their business. They moved on. Then the Falcons look like they're the Falcons again after the win against Green Bay. This is a tough game for me. I'm not fully sold on Pittsburgh, to be honest with you. They beat Minnesota last week with Case Keenum. Case Keenum's terrible. I don't want to lay 7. I don't really have an opinion on this football game.
I agree with you. Case Keenum, Case Keenum's Case Keenum. He's not playing for the Rams this year for good reason. And Pittsburgh's offense this year has been, I wouldn't call it lackluster, but I would hardly call it solid. Antonio Brown has half of Ben Roethlisberger's yardage, and the running game certainly hasn't gotten going. And I think he's averaging 3 yards a carry at best. So the question is, can Chicago slow him down enough and score enough points and not give the game away like they did against Tampa Bay? Because Jameis Winston didn't have to do anything because Chicago kept turning the ball over, and Tampa Bay only had a little over 300 yards. So I'm not a fan of this game. I wouldn't lay 7.5 on the road, not with a team like Pittsburgh, who just doesn't seem able to move the ball with any degree of high efficiency. And I'm not willing to take the Bears.
Paul Bovi, great insight, Paul. I don't want to keep you all night, buddy. I know you got a lot of stuff going on in Las Vegas. They got Planet Hollywood. The world awaits, man. And I like Planet Hollywood, great chicks. Were you watching the game down at Blondie's? Because I did shows at Blondie's for a couple of months, Paul. I'm a fan of Blondie's Sports Bar. Great place in Vegas.
Yes, you left your mark, Gabe. They have a little placard of you on the wall. And
we did some fucking epic shows there, no joke. You know what? We were there for Game 7 when the St. Louis Cardinals beat the Texas Rangers in the World Series. We were there for some big fucking baseball. We were there for some big football games. And it was awesome, man. The waitresses were all porn stars. No shit.
Well, maybe I could get a free drink. I'll head back down, throw your name around, and see what.
Yeah. So Yeah, don't throw my name around. LVPD will be on the way. LVPD, yeah, don't drop my name. So listen, before I let you go, Paul, great insight as always. College football, have you taken a look at anything yet? I know you like to bet on some college totals.
I've got plenty of action on Saturday, and I'm going to have more by the time kickoff comes. I did make a wager on Notre Dame. I got the best number out there, 3.5. I don't think much of Michigan State. They've played some really poor teams in Western Michigan and Bowling Green, and I think they're playing a real opponent. I'm not starstruck with Wimbush as quarterback, but I think they'll be able to run the ball successfully, and I don't see Michigan State doing all that much. There's a couple other games on the board that I like. If you have any of interest, I'd be willing to comment on it.
They got the big Purdue-Michigan game is the one people are talking about. We got the Vanderbilt in Alabama. One, it's a West Coast game. You're a West Coast guy, so West Coast game that catches my eye. Getting double digits with the Colorado Buffaloes on their home field. And, man, that total at 50 just seems way too low to me, Paul. You telling me the Colorado Buffaloes and the Washington Huskies can't get to 50 points?
You know what, Gabe? I really don't do a lot with West Coast football, and I guess this is just growing up on the East Coast. I didn't stay up. So sometimes I did. If I had to bet on the Hawaii game, I would, and I sit through it because we all like to bet the Hawaii game. But generally, I concentrate on East Coast football, Midwest football. I don't really have much of an opinion on Michigan-Purdue, but I do think Michigan wins the game. I think Purdue may be a tad overrated at this point. And I'm not playing the game because I think the spread's a little lofty, but I do like Iowa. I think this is a great revenge spot for the Hawkeyes. And one thing I will say is that Penn State, Pittsburgh was shredded through the air by Oak State, and Penn State couldn't do much against them. And I think that Penn State's offense this year is a little bit suspect. And you're giving the Hawkeyes 12 points at home, and I think they're going to fight hard, and I think they'll stay in the game here.
Paul Bovi. Paul, countdown to NBA is on, brother, and I know nobody loves the NBA like you do, and I'm a pretty close second. I'm right there. I love the fact that the NBA started a couple of weeks earlier than usual, man. We're less than a month away.
Yeah, I don't like that fact, Gabe. I'm dialing into football, but I guess it's something I'm gonna have to live with. And this is the NBA, and they want it to start at the middle of the month, so get my game on in the next couple days and really hunker down and make sure I come out of the gate smoking.
Yeah, and I tell you what, there's been a lot of player movement, man, this year, right? So holy fuck, I'm going to go buy an NBA magazine just to get caught up to date again. Oh, yeah, that guy's on this team now.
Hey, speaking of Buffalo, my first year at college, I used to the Buffalo Braves, I think I told you this, used to practice in my gymnasium over there. So I'd be the only guy in the gym watching Bob McAdoo and, Adrian Dantley. And so I love the L.A. Clippers. Not because of the L.A. Clippers, because they were the Buffalo Braves, which I'm sure you remember.
Yeah, of course I do. And all right, Paul. Hey, people make money if they tune into the show. If you tune in at 10 o'clock right off the top, we told you take the second half over 20.5, cash it. They're at 21.
There you go, Gabe. Congratulations. That was a great call.
Money, and you want to make money. Paul Bovi's on a 6-0 run right now, Vegas insider, and in fact, he's also on the Rams actually tonight as well. Paul, you're a class act, my man. I'll let you get down back to your life down there at Blondie's in Planet Hollywood.
All right, Gabe. Thanks a lot. We'll see you soon, buddy.
There's Paul Bovi with his great stuff with Paul Bovi. Could have hung out all night with Bovi, but we can't keep him all night. Can't keep Paul all night from Vegas. Class act, Paul Bovi. Great insight as well. I tell you, Paul Bovi's a great NBA capper. He's a great football capper too. NFL and NBA. Those are his two things. Oh, I thought there was 3 touchdowns. What are you talking about? What the fuck? I thought they scored 3 touchdowns. It's 17. All right, Paul, you're not logged off. Can see your room, can hear you. There you go. All right. I'm telling you, that wasn't me before either. I just mushed it. I just motherfucking mushed the bet. Now they're not going to get to 21. I don't know. There's nothing to do with Google Hangouts, all right? There's no buttons to push. One guy talks, it comes up. You know what I think the fucking problem was? You know what the fucking problem was, I think? I think it was the hotel internet. He's in a hotel room. I think there was just some sort of weird bounce back, and it was just kind of weird. The Jim Brown jersey, I appreciate it. No, Paul Bovi I heard that too. He didn't just do a fat line. Paul Bovi's a health freak and shit. It did sound like... Paul Bovi doesn't, I'm telling you, I know Paul. He doesn't even smoke weed. All right, a lot of stuff going on in here. A lot of stuff, a lot of people in the chat, and, I was busy talking to Paul Bovi. But I think it's time. I think it's time. As Joe Lisi, well, I should say the fake Joe Lisi. You're gone! Playtime's over. Playtime's over. We were clearly infiltrated by Noel Butler, the fake Noel Butler. Took me a couple of seconds to catch on. I would have booted him earlier, but I was doing a professional interview with Paul Bovi. See, we have somebody that always uses other media personalities' names. Now, the thing is, Joe Lisi does watch this show. As Joe Lisi sent me a message the other night stating, I love the show, Gabe. I was doing my college football research and I watched the show. But Joe Lisi's not a chat type guy. Joe Lisi's a mature individual. Unlike somebody that would impersonate Joe Lisi. So fake Joe Lisi? You're gone! Fake Joe Lisi. You got fucking fake Ric Flairs, fake Joe Lisi's, fake Noel Butlers. See, that's the beauty of it, too. It's like John Voight's car. That's the beauty of it. See, if he comes in as Jim Rome, we know it's not Jim Rome. He comes in as Joe Lisi, maybe it's Joe Lisi. Maybe it's Joe Lisi. But the thing is, I have had Joe Lisi on my TV show for the last 3.5 years. And Joe Lisi was only able to use Skype for the first time today. I don't believe that Joe Lisi would even know how to figure out to get into this chat. Jim Rome's a douche, is a good guy. Jim Rome is a douche is welcome here, Druzilla. I got no problem with Jim Rome as a douche. Kevin White says his name's really Kevin White. See, I gotta say, these little YouTube chat things should have like fucking Twitter avatars. We should see people's faces. That should be like a prerequisite of the internet. You must show your face. Oh, you're saying, yeah, Jim Rome's a douche. It is Jim Rome. Yeah, he's stealing my bits. I can't believe I mushed this fucking game. Settle down, Tom Marino. The Ty Rich in the house. What up, Ty Rich? Dexter. Yeah, I like the Jets this week, Dexter. Yeah, good call, Gargon. I do like the Jets next week, as crazy as it sounds. Rico Banks, his name's really Rico Banks. Leroy St. Peter. I don't know, man. I like to Mario Martinez. I believe Mario Martinez. Look, Mario's got a picture of himself. That's Mario. You guys won't believe this. I got a text. I can show you this text. Listen, I'm not a motherfucking fan of people that say, call me. I don't even like that when I know somebody. So look at this motherfucker. Look at this motherfucker. Look at a guy yesterday. My text says, call me. That's all it says. Call me. Except there's no text history, so I don't know the motherfucker. So I say, who is this? He responds, this is Kumar. The only Kumar I know is from Harold and Kumar, fuck, and I don't know either of you. I don't know any Kumars. And then he says, can I call you? Can I call you? I respond, I think you have wrong number. I was going to say, go fuck yourself, but I said, I think you have wrong number. Then he responds, what is your name? Any way that we are friends. So what's the deal here? Did I just get suckered in and fished into some fucking Russian fucking Trump dossier here by like clicking? Like, can you get scammed by answering to a text? Why is this guy trying to get me to call him? Is this like, is it the feds trying to like, what? I don't understand the scam. What, is Kumar looking for a friend? You looking for someone to play with your fucking wee-wee? Like, what's your deal, Kumar? Yeah, North Koreans. Kim Jong-un. I see Kim Jong-un stealing Bitcoin. Watch out, Bruce Chat. And Jazz. No shit. Kim Jong-un's got like a cyber arm and he's stealing Bitcoin now. San Francisco back to pass. Wide open touchdown. Now the over hits for real. Yeah. Just kidding. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think I'm with Stooch the man. That's what I think. I'm of the old school too, where I grew up, that the old wrong number was really them calling you to wiretap you. So that's what I'm thinking. After I respond to the guy, I'm like, what did I just get suckered into? I'm like, what, can they manipulate my cell phone number to what? I don't know. You guys want to back into my bank account? Go ahead. Fuck. I got $19 in there right now. If that. And they missed the extra point because they're the San Francisco 49ers. Yeah, Kumar's my new FBI handler. I know. That's what I'm saying, Drew. That's the thing. Like, there's that urban myth that you got to answer back. It's like, yeah, I just answered back to them. Fuck. That's what I thought after, too. I'm like, I thought the exact shit. I'm like, well, I either just got fucking some fuckers trying to fish, and I don't know what his little scam is here. I thought, all right, it's some sort of weird hacker, and they're trying to get my cell phone, and then they hack into what? And then the third option, I was like, I don't know, maybe it's the fucking feds, and they're trying to fucking set me up for something. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, so are we friends? Hey, Kumar, you're dumb. If you would have put your name was Kathy and you would have sent me a picture of a fucking tit or something like that, maybe I would have fucking said, yeah, call me. That's the thing. I respected his honesty. I was like, well, motherfucker, Kumar, what do you want, Kumar? I imagine the deal would be a lot of people probably call back. Just randomly. And then he gets you on the phone. I almost want to call him now. I almost want to call him right now. I want to say, what's up, Kumar? I thought we were buddies. What's going on, Kumar? I want to ask him, what's your fucking deal, Kumar? The guy's bothering me. That'd be great. I should just fucking respond to him. Can I call you? Like he did to me. Can I call you? Hey, you know what? I should really fuck with his head. Hi, Kumar. How are you doing, friend? Can I call you? Except, no, that's just like, we're going to find out we're pissing off some fucking Indian cartel fucking Bangladesh, and they're going to fucking trace me down and fucking have me shot. You guys are all like, call him. Now, if I call him, then he's getting, if he doesn't answer, then he's going to harass me and shit after. It would be funny. Hey, Kumar, what's up, man? No, we listen. Then I become a troller. Then I'm a troller. Although I am tempted to call. I'm not going to lie. A part of me wants to call right now. Part of me wants to call him right now. Just say, yo, what's up, Kumar? You want me to call you? Mr. Baz says it's a bookie. Kevin White says it's a dumb guy. Fuck, man. Every time San Francisco looks like they might be coming back, man, the Rams. I can't believe it. Yeah, exactly. I'll do it on another number. I don't want to fucking get I don't want to poke the bear. I start fucking with these guys. Next thing you know, thing is, there's no way they can find my address through my cell phone. I do have a shitty cell phone burner thing as is. It's not connected to any address. I'm an idiot. Fuck. I lost my iPad and I contacted Apple. I'm like, hey, listen, how do I find my iPad? They're like, all you got to do is turn the location on. So I asked them. I'm like, I gave them my information and shit. And the best part was I turned the GPS off one day. I was like, I don't want people fucking. I was like, fuck this. And the chick told me, she goes, well, sir, if you didn't turn your GPS tracker off, we could find your iPad for you. We could tell you where it is. But since, she goes, you manually turned it off. I was like, yeah, I did. Yeah, I did manually turn it off. $34-26. All right. I'm starting to salvage the disaster that is this game because I'm hitting the in games. I hit the second half over. You guys heard that. Over 20.5, that hit. This isn't bad. I hit in-game over 53.5. I hit in-game over 57.5, and I hit the second half over 20.5. We hit South Florida minus the 17. We hit the long field goal. They're not too bad here. But we need this. Fuck, I need San Francisco, man. They're just not. They're not. Look, they're down by 8. If they could stop the Rams and score a motherfucking touchdown, I don't even care if they missed a 2-point convert. I got 3 points with these guys. And for the record, I'm considering a road trip, guys. Considering a road trip. Sort of started out today, we were talking shit. About the Chargers and their lack of fans and shit like that and attendance in LA. So my boy T-Bone in Vegas, good guy, we're buddies. Used to live together in Vegas. He said he's considering going because he goes, I want to go to a Bronco game. But he goes, it's like $300-400 to go to a Bronco game in Denver. Broncos are a hot ticket. He said in LA, it's fucking $20. He goes, maybe I'll go to the Bronco game in LA on the 22nd. And I got a good friend in LA, our boy Shell Dog. He's on the contest team. We got a bunch of buddies in LA. And I looked up the flight, and it's only $299. Very, very surprised. All right, Melnick. I'm going to give you A for effort, Melnick. I give you A for effort. If you don't piss me off, Melnick, I won't boot you right now, all right? Only because that was pretty fast and pretty creative. Yeah, so I'll break down the Boise game after here, Rich Banks. So yeah, man, it's fucking $500 to fly to Vegas. It's fucking like $800 to go to Vancouver. Fucking Rams scoring again, moving the ball again. Gurley, big play. It's $299 return to go to Los Angeles. Now, there's only 4 tickets remaining at that price, but the other tickets were $307. It's $300. Whatever. You go out to a club in downtown Toronto and get wasted. You know what I mean? I don't go out ever, guys. I work my ass off. I don't go out. So I go on trips. Like I don't, like last time I went out, I was in Vegas a couple of weeks ago. So to me, I'm like, whatever, man, $299. I used to live in LA, so I know the city. I know the hotels. I know the areas. I love the place. And so, I'm pretty much like 90% going to do it, actually. If any of you live in the LA area, we can get together. You can come down to the game. So yeah, it's $299 motherfucking dollars for a flight. I'll leave on Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon. I'll get to LA Saturday afternoon. Fucking Get a hotel for Saturday, go out in Hollywood, watch some games, fucking go to a sports bar, watch some games, then go out to my old stomping grounds on the Strip in Hollywood. Sunday, go to the NFL football game. Fly back Monday morning. $300 for my flight, two days in a hotel. And Sunday's cheapest fucking hotels. I know the hotels there too. I know a place on Wilshire, fucking cheap, man. Sheridan type thing. Nice place, Sheridan. It's cheap. It's in Koreatown. Wilshire Boulevard, downtown. It's a nice place. Downtown area. They cleaned it up. It's cleaned up the area. It's Koreatown. Yeah, so that's the plan. It's October the 22nd. I'm not locked in, guys, but like I said, I work my ass off. I have no friends. I have nowhere to go here in Toronto. I used to live in LA. Weed is everywhere in LA. Like I said, man, I'm planning a little weekend. I'm going to go out, fucking party my ass off in Hollywood on Saturday night, go to the fucking Ram Bronco game, load up on the Broncos, pay for the trip, come back Monday morning. Yeah, I know Big Wangs. Yeah, Big Wangs is on Wilshire. I know Big Wangs. Touchdown Rams. They're just not letting up. Fuck, I had all these in-game overs. I'm out of in-game overs. I don't have any more in-game overs. I need some fucking sacks. Let's check in on this sack prop. That's a good thing when you give your boss. One of my bosses in New York City asked me for a pick in the South Florida game tonight. I told him lay the points. Thing is, this guy bets like fucking 12,000 a game and shit. So I remember last year in the NFL, he told me, he goes, give me some picks. I gave him some picks, and they won. And he goes, I had a great week, great job. He goes, won big. I go, how much did you win? He's like, 225,000. I'm like, holy fuck. And I said, how much did you bet a game? He's like, 50K. I'm like, wow. Thing is, and then like 2 weeks later, I had a bad weekend, and I saw him, and he goes, you cost me about 135,000 last week, Morency. And I'm thinking, fuck, well, I didn't tell you to put $135,000 on my NFL picks. He's like, I'm just kidding. I don't blame you. Oh, I didn't even see Amir. What's Amir talking shit in here? Oh, I'm sleeping on the ball, guys. What, are we kicking someone out? Amir? You're gone! Oh, that's the second one that bites the dust tonight. We'll take our first break of the evening, and we got a special treat for you. We got a second unannounced guest coming up. I like the music and the fire.
This whole world is ours. Building up so we can tear it apart. Who do we think we are? This whole world is ours. Be silent while you tear it apart. I'm so sick and tired of waiting. I don't have the time or the patience. If I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't have a job to find. And if I work tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I'll fall asleep when I'm home. When I'm home. Just so far from here, focused on my own way, and never looking back to those who lived in fear. There was nothing I could do, there was nothing you said that could make me realize how much lucky I was. Just out of reach of the fire, was not aware of the darkness, but when I start to see through light, begging for help, begging for hope. Just need to open my eyes down to try to change them to sunshine, to be someone among others. I can try to leave. I'll bleed tonight if I am sad tonight. I don't have the time to ride. If I work tonight, I'm so tired tonight. I'm falling asleep when I'm home. When I'm home, way to go. No one can see you through that.
San Francisco. Not going anywhere. An epic catch from Pierre Garçon. They punch it in. 5 minutes and 8 seconds remaining. They're trailing by 8 points. And for the spread, it doesn't really matter, actually. For the spread, it doesn't matter. But for the 49ers, it does. That fuckface missed the extra point. So it's the late night anger management class. I am Gabe Morency. Level 2. Level 2. All right. And Mitch Melnick is now gone again. We told you not to piss me off. You pissed me off, Melnick. And you know what? Not only that, if you step in again tonight with another name, I'm going to report you to YouTube. I didn't report you. I just booted you before. I will report you. My man Jet kicking it in Los Angeles. Holy fuck, big fumble! San Francisco got it! Yeah! You better have got it, motherfucker. You had it. Yeah, they got it. Fumble! Yeah! Let's go, let's go! Let's go, Niners! Niners! Let's go. Maybe my old school Frank Gore jersey. Come on, man. I'm like Britney Spears, man. We do we're like Britney Spears. We got wardrobe fucking changes in our shows. Come on, man. I ain't mushing shit. I already bet on him, right? Turning back. Motherfuckers. A field goal does us no good either. We need a fucking touchdown. They settle down, Backstreet Boy. Yeah, we got wardrobe changes in the show, Zach. That's the type of big-time shit you guys get on SBR now. How many hosts have wardrobe changes on their show? All right, 3rd and 3. Come on, motherfuckers. Shut the fuck up, Bobby Brown. Talk about sports. We're talking about a football game, fuck. You want me to get the machine gun out again? No, I don't think ladies do dig the jerseys. I actually have like every NFL team's jersey. I didn't buy them all. I got them in a deal I did. Whatever. They fell off the back of a truck. 3rd and 3, back to pass. 1st down. Exactly, the dog jerseys. Let's go, William Guy. What up, William Guy? Yeah, David Rasmussen, you're one fucking comment away from getting a boot as well. Oh, Hoyer. Oh, fuck. Is that a catch? No. Yeah, nobody knew this fucking game was going to be like this. Yeah, I saw Rasmussen chirping earlier in the show. But I'm not in a booting mood. I tell you, I'm not like a dictator. But if people step up and want to keep chirping, then we'll boot you. Are they challenging this shit or what? Fuck. That's a catch. Let's see. There's the one. There's the two. Yeah, good call, ref. You're right in front of it, ref. You're standing right there, referee. You notice the refs, too? The ref's not even looking at the fucking feet. He's looking at the ball. Fuck the ball. Look at both these guys. You two stupid old fucking men standing fucking there. Maybe you guys should get some fucking referees that are fucking less than 72 years old in this fucking league, man. The game's too fast for these old fuckers. The thing is, the ref is standing right fucking there, man. Like Brian Solier say, the ref's right fucking there. Like, how hard is it? Look at the ref. Look at the ref. Look at the ref. He's not even looking at the feet. So that ref's saying, look at this. Neither of them are looking at the feet. They're both looking at the ball. Isn't one of you supposed to look at the feet and one of you look at the ball? You're both looking at the ball. You're going to look at the feet. How the fuck can you call that incomplete if you don't know? You didn't even look at the feet. Jeff fucking Triplett's a useless motherfucker, man. He better get this right on replay. Yeah, no shit, Triplet. No thanks to you. We had to call a fucking challenge. Yeah, I'm a Bills fan, Brian. You're right. Lions and Bills, we get it up the ass all the time. It just is. You watch a Bills game, like it's like 40. The Bills don't get calls. We get called for everything. It's challenges. It doesn't matter if the video proves it. No. Whatever way the Bills like will fuck us. Yeah, Browns too. This is some crazy shit, man. Oh, and I see we got Cody Saftik actually lurking in the dark. It's a little dark there, Cody. Can you crank the light on?
Yeah, I feel like one of those people that
got caught up in the football game, Cody.
No, it's all good.
Holy shit. Pounding to the two. Cody Saftik, what's up, Cody?
What is going on? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. We hear you. Let's see, get it up. Oh, it's a little dark though. Can you get any brighter in there?
It's quite possible. My girlfriend's currently sleeping, but
that's better actually. Even the angle you're at right now.
yeah, I know. I felt like one of those people that's anonymously ratted somebody out, and then they have to give you like the dark shadow. They're like, just in case anybody recognizes this guy, not based on his voice.
Cody Saftik, the dark shadow. All right, let's see if they can get this in here. Hoyer back a pass, second and goal. You can run it in there. Third and goal coming up here. Third and goal coming up. All right, Cody. Sorry, we're just in the middle of a fucking crazy ass ending of this football game. You got any action on this football game?
Yeah, you know what? I had a University of Florida, Southern Florida, parlayed up with the Rams, but I see that they're starting to dog it pretty late, so I'm getting nervous.
Yeah, that's
the Florida game was an 18.5-point spread, so I was like, man, I don't know what's going to happen here. I read a couple reports on it, and they were like, yeah, don't worry, this will be a blowout. And then I watched it, and it was very much so. Blowout was an understatement.
Of course, there's got to be a fucking penalty here. What the fuck? What the hell is going on here? Oh, that's what they are. Southern Florida, the University of Southern Florida Bulls.
Yeah, exactly.
A big man on campus is like Southern Florida.
Well,
hey, Cody's an MMA guy, all right? Whatever, USF. That's what they are. They're the South Florida Bulls. All right, 3rd and goal. This is going to be torture. They're not going to get in. I don't fucking believe this. We got 4th down coming up right now. Holy motherfuck. All right, Cody. We'll jump into some MMA in a second after this crazy ass fucking play here. Fuck. Carlos Hyde is good, but he's not tailor-made, man, for these goal line situations. Holy shit. 4th and fucking goal. And they call a timeout. You stupid idiots. It's the one thing you don't want to do, because if you didn't get the touchdown here, you could have used that timeout and then used the 2-minute warning as a timeout. Bad coaching by Kyle Shanahan. That's dumb. Because if you don't get it, you have that timeout left. Boom. There's 2:17 left. They run the ball once. Boom. You call timeout. They take it to the 2-minute warning. At least you got a puncher's chance of stopping him and then punting from the end zone. Holy fuck, man. It is fucking stressful. You know, I went through this last week in the CFL game with a big dramatic comeback only to fall short. What kind of play do you guys have here? Holy motherfuck. All right, here we go. Touchdown! Fuck yeah!
Gotta go for 2.
Oh, now suddenly, I tell you, if they don't get it, it depends on when you bet this game. This is some crazy fucking shit here. Hey, and the Rams still have time to come back, actually, guys. The Rams still have time to come back. I've got them at +3, too. What do you have? What do you have the Rams at, Cody?
Rams was +155 when I took it. Sorry,
right.
-155. -155.
You have the game on TV in front of you here?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, I don't want to be like a dick and just all right. They earlier in the week, Donnie Rightside saying no bet too. Good to see you, Donnie. I think earlier in the week there were some 2s. The Rams have 3 timeouts left as well. So what the fuck? Timeout City. You got 2 rookie coaches here that are sort of choking. Like they both are like, all right, fuck. You know, and all this shit is coming down because this fucking fuckhead missed an extra point earlier. This fuckhead doesn't miss that extra point earlier. We're not in this. So, yeah. So if you're wondering who the guy with the beard in the dark is, he's Cody Saftik. He's from the Fight Network, and he knows MMA as much as anybody I know. Oh, intercepted. Why wouldn't you guys run the ball? This is good for both you and me, Cody, because I got the fucking points. I got the 49ers +3.
Oh, you got the point spread. Oh, perfect. I got the straight up on the Rams, so I think this might work out both.
Well, why would you run the ball, man? And he had him. Why didn't he keep going to the outside, the receiver? Just such an inconceived play. Wow. Yeah, but listen, I'm not going to cry. I don't have the Niners on the money line, guys. I've got the 49ers +3 fucking points here. So I'm cool. If this game fucking ends the way that it ends right now, we're good. We're good with this. You know, it's crazy, Cody. This football game, Cody, was supposed to be a clusterfuck. Shitty game, going to be no points scored. And in MMA and the UFC, it's often like that, isn't it? The cards that people are like, this is going to be a shitty card. I don't know who the fuck these guys are. This fight was canceled. And then it's those cards that always end up with crazy fucking knockouts, isn't it?
Dude, look at the card last weekend in Pittsburgh. You're going into it, everyone's saying, man, this is one of the weakest offerings they've had on paper. It's fun fights. You get great knockouts. You get a couple guys that you walk away from the event thinking, hey, love to see him some more.
Holy shit. They went for an onside kick and they got it.
This is a crazy game.
Oh, my God. Hey, it makes me a lot to say, oh my God, fuck, but oh my God.
This is bad for me now.
I didn't even see it. I was talking to you. I'm like, all right. We got a couple of seconds where it's not going to be crazy here. Look at this. Holy motherfuck. This is fucking insanity, man. The worst game ever is turning into a classic. Fuck.
Why you can't sleep on the Thursday nighter?
Look at this. Oh, no. No, it went 10 yards. It's fine. Yeah, because it hit the 49er player first, which you can't do, but it went 10 yards. Let's see. Yeah, it's 10 yards. Yeah, wow. Holy motherfuck. I want to get to the MMA, Cody, but it's like, damn, man, this game's just too fucking crazy right now.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Cody's having a heart attack. Fuck.
Yeah, well, it does. Definitely doesn't play good for the Rams' chances here. They're doing everything in their capabilities to blow this one late.
I'm having a heart attack, too. Our fucking horse needs to get better.
Yeah, big time. Hopefully soon. I'm hoping on it. Positive vibes, Gabe. Positive vibes.
Exactly. Hey, I was positive about this game, man. I busted out the 49er jersey and shit. Like Tom Marino said I was mushing it with the jersey. Said I was mushing it. Not mushed yet. 2nd and 10. Back to pass Hoyer. You know what pisses me off, though? I need more sacks, actually. How many sacks did I have? Let me just do a quick sack check here. We'll jump into the MMA. It'll be a 2-minute warning coming up here in a second. No, here we are, 2-minute warning. I don't think we got the 5 sacks, though. And it's crazy. People were slamming the over in the punts tonight, 11.5. Like that. I think there's been 2 punts, if that. Both quarterbacks. Fuck, Hoyer's got 332 yards passing. Goff's 22 of 28, 292. Crazy big numbers. It's fuck. What a fucking man. You can't predict this shit. All right. Total sacks in the game. Sacks. Fuck. We're stuck at 3. We're not going to hit the sack prop. Okay. It is what it is. Let's talk some MMA during this 2-minute morning while we track this football game. Cody Saftik, kind enough to join us in the late night hours. So some Friday night fights, Cody, and the Fight Network's got the prelims right at 8 o'clock. So tomorrow night, I'm going to be on live during these fights tomorrow night. UFC Fight Night 117 from Japan. Let's jump in with the main event here. I have a hard time laying fucking minus 500 with OSP against anybody. Okami's fucking old. I know it's in Japan, etc. I'm looking to bet the over 1.5, and I'm just going to hold my fucking breath and hope Okami doesn't get knocked out in the first 7.5 minutes.
Yeah, no, I think that's the play for sure. I mean, look at it. 1.5 rounds. I mean, that's not a crazy line. And this is a 5-rounder, right? So if either guy thinks to themselves, you know what, conserve a little bit of energy late, take it easy to start the fight, so to speak, then I see that over hitting for sure. I mean, with OSP, the guy's a gigantic 205-pound fighter. And with Yushin Okami, this is a guy whose last couple of fights have been at 170 pounds, Gabe. So he's, in fact, moving up from 170 to 205 pounds. It seems crazy, but seeing him at the weigh-ins today, he actually didn't look all that bad. He got some size to him. He's got a grinding style. Nobody wants to lay minus 500 on OSP, but if you're gonna, this is the type of opponent that you want to against. And over 1.5, yeah, sign me up for that.
All right, yeah. So, are you gonna take OSP here?
Yeah, I'm gonna take OSP. And I'll look at
in a parlay, maybe.
I mean, look at it. He was supposed to fight Shogun in the main event, right? And Shogun gets hurt a week out with obviously knee troubles, and Okami comes in. Like I said, Okami 2 fights ago, man, he fights Paul Bradley. Paul Bradley is a welterweight that fights in World Series of Fighting, and he wins a split decision, which I thought he lost. So minus 500 is not great, but if you parlay that up, you'll get some much better value out of it. And the over 1.5, I mean, like I said, if it was 2.5, I'd be worried about it. But 1.5, I feel like there's some fairly good value there. So I don't mind Alvin St. Preux. I mean, this guy's a former linebacker at the University of Tennessee. He's a freak athlete. We haven't seen the best out of him. We haven't seen the worst out of him. But when you consider that this guy's got 5 rounds against guys like John Jones, I mean, yeah, he's not that bad. He's got a split decision loss to Volkan Oezdemir, who everyone looks at as a world beater now. The guy's not bad.
I thought OSP, and it's funny you say that because I was disappointed in OSP's performance that day. I thought he won the fight.
Yeah.
I thought he won the fight against Oezdemir. And I was sort of disappointed. I'm like, who the fuck's this fucking Cicero-looking WWE guy here? I'm like, come on, OSP. But yeah, I don't know. But even Oezdemir is surprised he's knocking people out now, Cody. You remember? He's like, I don't know my hand. I never did this before. He's knocking everyone out now.
But you know what? Look at his recent run of guys. It's like, holy crap, he just knocked out Misha Cherkinov. Holy crap, he knocked out Jimmy Manuwa. You know who he did knock out? Alvin St. Preux. Pretty durable guy. Not exactly really a quick finisher. Certainly, he knocked out Shogun quickly, but he normally takes time to set up his moves. And Yushin Okami, I mean, he's such a gritty veteran. He's just going to look to press you up against the cage. He's just going to look to grind you and slow down the pace. That's why I feel like the over is a solid bet. But yeah, I mean, OSP minus 500. He's taking on a guy that's taking the fight on 1 week's notice, moving up 2 weight classes. So I feel like he's not necessarily a lock, especially with his type of style. But in a 5-round fight, he's going to have some opportunities to work his magic, so to speak. He's a better athlete. He's bigger, faster, stronger. Minus 500, you're going to probably have to parlay it up, but I don't feel that bad about it.
What do you make of Gadella and Andrade? Is the line too high here? I like the over 2.5 in this fight. It's over under 2.5. I'm going over 1.5, and Cody Safdie agrees with the 1.5 in the main event. But what about the co-main event? These two chicks are both fucking killers, but Claudia just seems to be on another level, doesn't she?
Yeah, I mean, really, this is actually the best fight on the card. It's the number 2 and 3 women's strawweights in the world, right? Whereas every other fight's either, fun, or the OSP fight versus Okami is could be a mismatch, or there's people that are not ranked. I mean, this is literally 2 top contenders. I don't really like the line. Minus 270 at Claudia Gadelha, that is pretty big. The other thing that worries about me is that if you're looking at overs, a lot of time people will look at women fights and think, you know what? I mean, they're both grapplers, and it probably hits the over. A lot of people thought Claudia Gadelha in her last fight against Karolina Kowalkiewicz was also going to be an over. But when the fight hits the mat, this girl shows you she's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion on the ground. And with Andrade, she's strong, she's stocky. They have similar styles. But we've seen Jessica Andrade get caught in the first round by a submission before in the past. And I really feel like if she comes in here and she tries to wing down in that pocket, close the distance, close that gap, swing those wild hooks like she normally does, I mean, there's an infinite possibility that the fight does hit the ground. If the fight does hit the ground, you can't sleep on Claudia. So that one worries me. Once again, minus 270. I don't love the price. I do like Claudia Gadelha. I wouldn't want to pay that kind of price tag on her. But the over-under makes me worried, man. You just got to look at recent history with this girl. She can definitely catch you.
We've got Gomi's a big Gomi versus the other Dong Young Kim. Gomi's been getting fucked up, Cody, man. 4 straight losses in the first round. He's getting knocked out by guys that aren't even knockout artists and specialists. Joe Lozon, Jim Miller, tough guys, but not guys that are known for knockout wins. John Tuck submitted him. 4 straight fights. He's lasted, the longest he's lasted is 2 minutes and 37 seconds. I wanted to fucking say, all right, can I take the underdog here? I don't think so. Then I looked at the total, and I'm getting, it's 1.5, but it's plus 150. Plus 150 to the over. But then I look, and I'm like, man, Gobi hasn't gotten out of the first fucking round in his last 4 fights.
Exactly. I think he's got a better chance here of making it out of the first round. But all the same, when you look at recent history with this guy, and it's not been pretty. I mean, I went on record saying the prime of this guy's career was 2006, 2007. And, I mean, last time I checked, it's currently 2017. I mean, he's been out of his prime for 10 or 11 years. The other thing you got to factor in is Friday night's actually his 39th birthday. He'll be fighting on his birthday, and he's turning 39. And this guy's certainly seen way better days. Even when he was in his prime, he just wings punches from the hip side. He's got a lot of power, but that's just because of the way he throws those punches. Oh, the look on your face says it all, Gabe. Should I check my stream of this game?
Holy motherfuck. He's down. They're going to kick a field goal. We're going to lose. Oh, that was 3rd down, right?
3rd down.
Oh, no, that's 1st down. Perfect. Yeah, perfect. So it's 1st down. All right, thank God. Oh, my God. I swear to God, Cody, I thought he fumbled and it was picked up and returned into the end zone for a touchdown. I was like, I'm going to fucking flip the table. I was like, I didn't realize it was 1st down, actually. I thought it was 4th down with like 10 seconds left. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Fuck. All right. So, all right, we hit. Whoa, boy. Hey, I can't believe we actually hit San Francisco +3. Congratulations to the Rams moneyline backers. But holy motherfuck, guys, what a nice comeback. That we covered the number. We needed that one. Nice shit. I gave up on it, man. Unbelievable. Crazy motherfucking shit. All right. Okay, so let's keep going here. So yeah, Gomi, what do you make? You can't take him. So Dong Young Kim's like in the minus 355 range.
Listen, how many guys are in the UFC that are on 4-fight losing streaks, especially guys that are on 4-fight losing streaks, but they were non-competitive in their last 4 fights? The fact is that they're in Japan, they're in the Saitama Super Arena, and they've got the Fireball Kid talking Aragoni. But as I mentioned, it's his 39th birthday. He's not the Fireball Kid, he's the Fireball Man. He just hasn't been having really good results at this point. I mean, you're looking at Dun-Yun Kim. This is fake Dun-Yun Kim. He's the less talented of the two, obviously, and much smaller. He's got the skill set to go out there and do exactly what everybody else is doing. The one thing that I got to beware is that if I'm going to play any type of devil's advocate, is that Dun-Yun Kim, Maestro Dun-Yun Kim, even though he's a judo black belt, he has shown a willingness to just step in the pocket and throw down with guys. He has a fight of the year candidate against Polo Reyes a couple fights back. And it really goes to show you that if he stands in the pocket with you, he can throw, but he can get hit and he can get dropped. You don't really just want to stand in the pocket with a guy like Takanara Gomi. But I mean, we're just talking about punches changed at this point. And when was the last time that Takanara Gomi even knocked down an opponent? Tyson Griffin? You know how long ago that was? I mean, it's a crapshoot to think that he's going to land the shot. It's certainly possible. This is MMA. But if we're looking for dogs, don't think Takanara Gomi's one of them.
All right, so Cody, you're a fight purist, and you're one of these guys, man. You interview glory fighters, you interview K1 guys, and you watch the other mixed martial art promotions as well. And I got to be honest, I didn't even realize Ben Henderson was fighting actually too. Kind of fucked up.
Arguably better than this UFC card.
Yeah.
Nelson's on it as well. Paul Daly's on it. It's great.
Yeah, no, it's weird. UFC and they switch days. Bellator Saturday. What the fuck? I'm all confused.
The better card and the better time slot.
Yeah, I'm all confused here. Okay, so but where I'm going with this is Gokhan Saki. Gokhan Saki. Some people are like, "Who's this guy? Oh, he's never fought. I don't care. He's in glory, but he doesn't have any mixed martial art experience. He fought once in 2004, like my man Gamblu, and Lou's a good MMA gambler." Lou doesn't have faith in Saki, although he's worried about Silva. The way I look at it is this: who does the UFC want to win this fight? They want Saki to win this fight. What is Silva's weakness? The guy's a punching bag, right? The guy gets hit. He's a very hittable opponent. And, if your nickname is the Turkish Tyson, I'm assuming your stand-up's pretty fucking good. So you got Gokhan Saki coming in here, light heavyweight champion in glory. Second to none pedigree in the kickboxing world. What do you make of this fight at minus 175? I'm betting Saki here.
Yeah, all day long. I mean, first of all, just like you mentioned, it's who does UFC want to win this fight? This is not a Takanara Gomi situation where you'd love to see him win at home in front of the Japanese crowd. This is a situation where you want to actively break into that Turkish market. They would like to go to Turkey, and they need a Turkish star. And if they can't get one in the MMA world, then they're going to grab him from the kickboxing world and bring him on over. I get that he's 0-1 in MMA, but first of all, yeah, that fight was 13 years ago. And by the way, it was against former Cage Rage champion James Zikic, who's by no means a joke and a good grappler. But all the same, now you're going to take this guy, Gokhan Saki, you're going to put in MMA. If he was taking on any type of D1 wrestler, if he was taking on an American guy with some great grappling credentials, I'd be worried. And I'll admit, Henrique de Silva does have a purple belt on the ground, but he's got zero wrestling. He's a Muay Thai stylist. His last fight before signing with the UFC against Ildemar Alcantara, he gets dropped multiple times, wins the fight. Makes his UFC debut, gets a win over Jonathan Wilson, he was rocked. Second fight in the UFC, Joaquin Christensen, rocked. Fight against Paul Craig, rocked. And then his last fight, Ion Cutelaba, he gets knocked out in under 30 seconds. Now, Ion Cutelaba is a fun little power puncher for sure, but he's young, he's green, makes a lot of mistakes. You know who's not young, green, and makes no technical mistakes standing? Is a guy like Gokhan Saki. Yeah, Gokhan Saki could get exposed against the wrong guy for sure. But these are not 10-ounce gloves, Gabe. These are 4-ounce gloves. And this guy only needed one punch to knock out guys before. He's definitely only going to need one guy punch to knock out guys now. And I really do feel like Henrique de Silva is a guy that, even though he's not young, he's old in the tooth, he's taken a lot of damage, and if he doesn't get this fight to the ground quick, he's going to get knocked out. My last point on it, people keep saying, did you see the weigh-ins? He looks a lot bigger than Gokhan Saki. Everybody looks big compared to Gokhan Saki. But just like you said, Turkish Tyson, everybody looked good. Everybody looked big Tyson till they hit the ground. Gokhan Saki faced the same way. He's fought guys like Daniel Gita, who's a gigantic Romanian guy. He's fought the who's of heavyweight kickboxing.
I was seeing he beat fucking Overeem with his hand broken.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's as legit as they get.
And he's buddies with Overeem too, and that's the thing. He trains with mixed martial artists a lot too, doesn't he? It's not like he's just coming in here cold.
Think about it. Imagine you were training this guy. Imagine anybody was training this guy. You would tell him, buddy, you don't even have to throw punches ever again in the gym. Just wrestle. Not even offensive wrestling. Just work on your takedown defense. And if anybody has to stand with you for a prolonged period, they're screwed. And let's look at recent high-level kickboxers that have decided to compete in MMA. You're looking at guys like Robin van Roosmalen, also a Glory champion, undefeated in MMA. Rico Verhoeven, the heavyweight champion of Glory.
Yeah.
Undefeated in MMA. These guys you can get by. Andy Sauer, I mean, longtime K1 legend, doing pretty decent in MMA. You can come over with just a kickboxing base, and against the right opponent, you can beat them. Against a smothering grappler, you're in trouble. This is not a smothering grappler.
That's the thing. And you know what Lou told me? You know what Lou said to me? He said, you're saying Saki's all this and all that, and I'm a Glory fan, right? And I'm not a Glory expert, but I love I love Joe and Showdown Joe and Valentine, etc. Bazooka Joe. And I enjoy the sport from a fan, but I'm not an expert on it like you are with Glory. But Gambler's like, you mocked Conor McGregor and said he had no chance going into a new sport. And I said it's not the same thing. I said, first off, Gokhan Saki's not fighting Floyd fucking Mayweather, like number one. He's not fighting the best guy ever in the world that's fighting at that sport. And I think the transition, I get it. If you're fighting Brock Lesnar or something and you're a kickboxer, you could have some problems, or he could take you down. But, I don't think there's a major transition from Glory into the UFC, dude. I really don't.
Dude, it's always going to come down to style. Styles make fights, right? We look at James Toney and we laugh at how bad he did in MMA, right? But he's taking on Randy Couture, who's a wrestler, and Randy Couture easily takes him down. Well, let's also use that boxer versus MMA fighter analogy again. We got Ray Mercer versus Tim Sylvia. You remember that fight? Ray Mercer knocked Tim Sylvia out in 9 seconds. Why? Because Tim Sylvia had a terrible game plan. He was not a wrestler, he's not a grappler. He stood in front of a pro boxer, he got KO'd. If Henry Silva goes for takedowns, that's one thing. But he doesn't go for takedowns. He goes for tie clinches. He just to bomb you with knees. Most of his fights that hit the ground, Gabe, they hit the ground because he gets dropped and his opponent follows him to the ground. Gokhan Saki comes from the kickboxing world. When he drops you, he walks away and he waits for you to get back up.
Yeah.
I mean, styles make fights, and this is just a great style for him to come in and win his first fight in the UFC. How they match him up beyond this is, your guess is as good as mine. But certainly for the first fight in the UFC, for getting this guy's feet wet, absolutely. And here's another point for that. If you're an MMA gym and you hear Gokhan Saki's transitioning to MMA, you're trying to get his services. So he's got a plethora of training partners and gyms that want to work with him, guys that want to specifically help him train, and they know the guy's skill set. They know what they got to do to make him a winner, and that's work on his takedown defense. So if he comes and even stuffs one takedown and keeps this fight standing for 90 seconds, I mean, that's already 60 seconds longer than this guy's last fight lasted. He doesn't have a great chin. It's not like he can wear him out and take him into waters, right? So, yeah, listen, it's an 0-1 guy making his UFC debut, and he hasn't really fought in MMA a whole lot. Is it risky? Sure, but minus 170, that's the kind of price tag you're going to take that risk on.
Yeah, I'm looking at the total for this fight. Where is it? 1.5, and it's plus 150 to the over. So the odds makers are they expect this to be a quick fight. I mean, according to the odds, then you got Saki at minus 175, and you got a total at 1.5 plus 150 to the over. They think Saki's going to knock this motherfucker out.
Yeah, I mean, hey, they're thinking the exact same thing I'm thinking, so I can't really blame them.
Yeah. Okay, so what about Ishihara? You like this fight?
Yeah, to be honest, we're going to have to start fitting in some dogs at some point. I actually don't really like Ishihara. He's got terrible game plan. Do you want to hear a ridiculous stat? He fought Gray Maynard in his last fight, 2017, failed to land one single punch on Gray Maynard in 2017. And people will say, well, Gray's an all-American wrestler out of Michigan. Yeah, this guy trains at Alpha Male. He's got guys like Clay Guida and Darren Elkins on him all day long. And
dude, I was one of the fucking few people that had faith in Gray in this fight.
Gray clowned him.
You know I'm buddies with Gray, and I'm one of these guys. Gray should retire, okay? But the thing is, they keep giving him these guys that he can beat, and Gray keeps beating them now suddenly.
You know what?
Gray ain't going to retire. Why would he retire? He was, and you know what? He was fucking... Ishihara was a plus minus 300 favorite in that fucking fight.
Yeah, minus 385 is what he ended up going off at. That's just crazy. It's crazy talk. Here's the thing with Gray Maynard, by the way. He's not going to retire anytime soon. He makes 51-51 is his pay. So if he's getting paid over $100,000 to beat guys like Teruto Ishihara, he's not going to retire anytime soon.
No, exactly. He's got a kid now too. But Gray would get killed if someone could actually punch him. It's a good point that you raised. What about Rolando Dai? Why does this name sound familiar? Oh, he's the Filipino guy. His father's the boxing champion, right? That's the guy, isn't it?
His father's a former WBC lightweight champion. But the thing is that his father actually kind of they've had a tumultuous relationship. So people always say he's the son of a former pro boxer. He's going to have the same thing.
He doesn't even know him very well. Exactly.
But he hardly knows this guy whatsoever. All the same, though, they got the same blood running through their veins, and it's combat blood. And you see this guy fight. I mean, he's got decent hands. He's really aggressive. He likes to go for it. But he's one of those classical Filipino fighters that the fight stays standing. He's tricky. He's durable. He's got some heart. But when the fight hits the ground, he's just not very developed. In his debut against Bruce Leroy, I mean, Bruce Leroy is a talented guy both standing and on the ground. And the grappling, the ability to transition to the wrestling, training out of a gym like the MMA lab with guys like Benson Henderson, he was more than ready to take this fight into the dirty areas. When I look at Teruto Ishihara, I mean, he's a single punch kind of guy. He's a southpaw fighter. He's got a nasty straight left, but he throws one punch at a time. Now, the thought process when he fought Gray Maynard is he only needs to land one punch and Gray's going to go down, and he couldn't even do that. And the biggest thing that I take away from that fight is it's the second and third round. He's getting taken down, and he's just looking up at the clock. He quits. He packs it in. You know what I mean? They call him the Japanese fuckboy, and he shows up with his gold chain, and he's got a nose earring, and he's got women with him, and he likes to laugh. Buddy, you've lost 2 in a row. Your 2 wins in the UFC were over guys that don't fight in the UFC anymore. So you're beating guys that are not up to this level, and you're losing to guys that are just moderately better than you. When Artem Lobov whips your ass pillar to post for 15 minutes, you've got problems. So don't tell me this guy's a favorite over Rolando Dai. Dai's not tremendous. Don't get me wrong. But when we're looking at this card, yeah, I like OSP. Yeah, I like Claudia. I like Gokhan Saki. I need some dogs at some point. When I look at this fight, I think, geez, you know what? Rolando Dai keeps this fight standing, lands some shots, get this guy thinking about himself. He has so much wasted space, so much wasted movement. He tends to get tired. He tends to quit on himself. So why not take a shot on the dog?
Great breakdown, Cody. I'm looking at the over-under of this fight. It's 1.5. Fuck, this probably goes the distance, doesn't it?
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking exactly that. Fight goes the distance. At the very least, over 1.5.
I'm getting excited for this card, man. There's some spots with these totals, man, and the parlays and stuff.
1.5.
I'm big on soccer. We can't hit every fight in depth because we'll be here all night doing it. But I'll blast through some of the other ones, and we'll get to the Bellator as well. And you can comment on one of the fights if it catches your eye from a betting perspective. Rosa versus Hirota. Rosa's a minus 205 favorite. Morono versus Nakamura. A lot of people seem to be talking about this Nakamura fight. Lou likes Sasaki against Formiga. He thinks that Sasaki's a live dog here. And our boy Drew in the chat, he's salivating to hear you talk about Sayuri Kondo. Drew loves the Japanese fighters, so he wants to hear you talk about Kondo as well.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I mean, Charles Rosa was minus 170 today, and I basically put all the dollars I have in the world on him, and then his opponent pulled out. He was sick. So that fight's actually off, which is sad.
Oh, shit, I didn't know. Oh, so it's canceled, huh?
Yeah, well, you know what? I watched the weigh-ins, and Hirota basically passed out on the scale. He missed weight by 5 pounds, and they had to carry him on, but they didn't cancel the fight. And I noticed the line was at minus 170. It was actually going down. So I was just like, oh, baby, I have to take this. Hammered it. It went up to minus 200, minus 205, minus 210. The fight just got canceled a couple hours ago. UFC. Okay. This guy's barely coherent.
Yeah, you know what? Some books don't even know yet, or maybe they know, and it's the old sucker bet. They're just trying to eat people's money up, right? Because, yeah, it's still on the board at some spots right now.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So, I mean, that fight's off the table. Nakamura versus Alex Morono. I actually like Alex Morono. This is going to be a tough fight, and I can see people going Nakamura, but I'd have to have a better price tag on him. Plus 115, just not enough juicy for me. Alex Morono, he always marches forward. He's got a great gas tank. His choppy striking style is not going to work against good strikers. Nakamura's a terrible striker. I mean, he looked okay against Kyle Noak, but hell, so did Alex Morono. Morono, literally, his last fight against Nico Price, he's up 2 rounds, and at 5 minutes of the second round, the bell rings, he gets KO'd. I mean, that's just bad luck. If he doesn't get knocked out in that very second, he's up 2 rounds going into the third. And who knows? Maybe he beats a top prospect like Nico Price, and people have got the different tune with him completely. If Keita Nakamura is going to win this fight, Gabe's got to take the fight to the ground. I mean, we know that about him. He's an excellent grappler. He's a BJJ black belt. Little known fact against Morono, also a BJJ black belt. Here's another variable that's important to take into consideration. Morono's from Texas, so his gym actually got flooded during this recent flood in Texas. So his gym's closed. He can't actually teach classes at his gym anymore. So he says, I don't even have a job anymore. I just train all day long because I don't have to go teach classes at night. So I actually think that's a benefit for him. Only 27 years old, BJJ black belt, decent striking, good cardio, always improving. And here's the thing with Keita Nakamura. Look at fight.
Desperate, actually, Cody, too, then. He needs money, too, right? You know, flood, he's out of work, he needs the money, he needs the win.
Lost his last fight? Absolutely, man. I think this guy's going to come in there with a chip on his shoulder. He says, I've always dreamt of fighting in the Saitama Super Arena in Japan and knocking out a Japanese opponent. Hey, what better time than now? Now, Keita Nakamura is not going to get knocked out easily. This guy is a savvy veteran. But you know what? It's really crazy to think that in his last fight, he scored 5 takedowns and still lost the fight fairly handily against a guy that just wanted to brawl. Morono is just going to want to brawl. But everyone keeps saying, man, look how good he looked against Tom Breeze. He was a 9-1 underdog, and he almost beat Tom Breeze. He scored 3 takedowns, Gabe. In 15 minutes of action, he landed 6 significant strikes. That's just awful. He's got decent submissions, but he doesn't ground and pound you when he takes you down, and it's going to be hard to take down Morono. If you do take down Morono, as I mentioned, he's a black belt. He's going to make you work. He's going to try to get back up. When he gets back up, he's going to move forward. He's going to put pressure on him. He's going to put hands on him, and I think he slowly breaks him down. Like I said, Nakamura wouldn't be a bad dog play, but plus 115, it's just not enough for me. Talking about
I was on Tom Breeze in that fight. I remember that fight. Yeah, the Silva Bisping night. Yeah.
And I had Tom Breeze, and I'm not going to lie, I was sweating. I mean, what a terrible fight that was. But all the same, Nakamura's rounds, right? Moving down from that, yeah, Sasaki, I mean, just the odds on him alone are crazy. I think if this fight, he'll definitely lose the first round. 100% this guy's going to lose the first round. But what we've noticed with Formiga is he tends to get really tired fairly quick. He'll lose the third round. He almost always loses the third round. He lost the third round against Wilson Hayes. He lost the third round against Borg. He lost the third round against Chris Carriasco and Zach Makovsky. And literally almost everybody outside of Dustin Ortiz that has ever gone to the third round with Formiga beats Formiga in the third round. If Sasaki takes him to the third round, he'll win that. It's how is he going to win that second round? How much can he push the pace and tire him? When I look at those odds, I'm in on that. Another dog I actually like, only plus 110, Daichi Abe. He's taking on the returning Hyun-Gyu Lim. People like Hyun-Gyu Lim. It's just a fact. The way the guy fights, super entertaining. He's a brawler. His chin's starting to leave him. He's about to turn 33 years old. He's been on the sideline for over a year. Daichi Abe is a 25-year-old who's undefeated, making his debut in front of his hometown crowd in Japan. And honestly, this guy's got power. He doesn't set it up particularly well. He likes to keep his hands by his side, and he is very hittable. But he's got power. Honestly, I think that's all he's going to need at this point against Hyun-Gyu Lim. So plus 110, sign me up for Abe. And then, yeah, talking about my girl, Siri Kondo. Even money, sign me up. I actually do like Kondo. I was a little bit worried. I mean, this is a girl that's an undefeated pro kickboxer. She spends a lot of time in the world of wrestling. She's done huge things in the world of wrestling. But people are just quick to say, well, she's a pro wrestler. How do pro wrestlers do in MMA? Not very good. This girl's a former track and field star in high school. She's a former tennis star in college. She's a former undefeated pro kickboxer. I mean, she's a natural athlete. She's only 28 years old. She's in fantastic shape, and she could push a pace. In her last fight, Gabe, she went 5 rounds, and she fought a girl named Kimberly Novaes. I know that doesn't ring a whole lot of bells for people, but Kimberly Novaes is a tough 9-3 Brazilian girl who actually knocked out Jessica Andrade. That is a true fact. This girl knocked out Jessica Andrade, and yet Kondo comes in there and dismantles her over 5 rounds. Now I look at her opponent, and honestly, not going to lie, really like her opponent. Really like her opponent, Chamin Jian, a lot. But Chamin Jian's got issues too. She's only 20 years old. She lost her UFC debut because she was 19. She was too green. She got exposed. When I look at this situation, I see the same thing. She's young. She's talented. And she'll get better. But this is just, it's too much too soon.
And he's South Korean going in there fighting a Japanese girl in Japan. That's tough. It's a lot of country pride on the line there.
And it's a Japanese star. I mean, this girl is over with that Japanese crowd. I mean, they love her. They love her through all of her exploits. And if you look at this fight for what it is, and it really is a striker versus striker. Well, let's just take MMA out of it. Because MMA, they got similar records. One girl's 5-0, one girl's 6-1, similar records. Well, let's just look at the kickboxing record, right? You look at Kondo's kickboxing record, and she's 13-0-1, never tasted defeat. You look at Chanmin Jian's record, she's 15-13. You know what I mean? It was a journeyman kickboxing record. So if this fight stays standing, I think Kondo wins. One issue I have with Kondo is she does not throw hooks. She throws jabs and straights. That's it. It's a very linear movement all the time. But against a 20-year-old girl who's very green and inexperienced, that's all you need. Chamin Jian's last fight against JJ Aldrich, she starts out pretty good. She has a great first round. Rounds 2 and 3, the lights get to her, the pressure gets to her, the cardio gets to her. She kind of falls apart a little bit. I'd expect the same thing to happen here against Kondo. And hey, because it's a pick 'em fight, basically, sign me up for Siri Kondo.
I like it. I like where you're going with this. And, I'm looking at these fucking totals here, dude. I'm going to crush this tomorrow. We're going to make 2,000, 3,000 tomorrow night. Let's do it. Positivity. I'm feeling this shit. I like where you're going. All right, we got one last fight here. And I wanted to bring up, actually, I'm just looking for the total of Kondo. This one's 2.5, so we'll stay away from that because it's minus 250. I'm going to bring it up. So we have there's one other fight, the first fight of the night, Luke Jomo and Anzai. I only bring it up because, remember the Bang stuff, and I think that happened on the Macau card. I brought up the Yakuza last night on the program. We were talking about always crazy line movement when you get into these Asian cards. And, I brought it up. You have Interpol, who sort of watches the tennis and the soccer match fixing a lot in Europe. They're in charge of it. And they sort of have their own international match fixing division, but it's essentially Interpol. And in the United States, it's the FBI that monitors this stuff. You know, and Interpol and the FBI don't have a lot of power in Japan over the Japanese gangsters. You know what I mean? Just like in Macau, they don't have any fucking power. And, you know, the UFC wants to go to Moscow. Fuck. I can't imagine, Cody. Jesus. It's going to be fucking crazy with like someone.
Dombalayev.
Yeah, something fucking, yeah. Like, be fucking careful betting on the Moscow UFC card. You know, I haven't seen any crazy line movement or anything for this. You know, so any you noticed anything weird, any weird suspicions? And, you know, I'm just bringing up the Asian cards. There have been shady shit on the Asian cards before.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at it this way. Shinzo Anzai hasn't fought in the UFC in 2 years. Yet magically he's coming back onto the UFC card. Simply they're in Japan. This is a guy that probably had no reason to be fighting anyhow and just said, hey, I'll hop on this card. So is there some shady going on? I'd hate to think so, man. I hate looking for fixes. I hate thinking there's a fix. So I'm just going to call this one straight up. Luke Jumo, 1-0 in the UFC. This guy, I feel bad for him, Gabe. I picked against him in his UFC debut, but largely because he described his regular work day. And he said, I wake up in the morning, I go to work, I work 9 hours. I come home, I feed my kids, I put them to bed, and then I go to the gym for 2 hours, and then I come home. This is UFC, dude. Everybody else is training 3 times a day, and they don't have full-time jobs.
Yeah, but he has the secret power of being a fucking Kiwi.
Yeah, dude, he's got an 8-pack, and he's just the best. Whatever he does for 8 hours. Well, actually, you know what? Yeah, I looked into it.
What's his job? Exactly. What's he doing? Lifting bail? What's he do all day? He's lifting steel.
He's called a panel beater, which I don't know what that is, but I bet he's probably beating some types of panel.
A panel beater?
And he's just in great. He's a Kiwi. That could mean anything. He could be a roofer for all I know. I don't really know, but he's a panel beater.
I'm looking it up. What is a panel? All right. A panel beater is a term used in Commonwealth countries to describe a person who repairs vehicle bodies back to their factory state after they've been damaged.
That makes sense, actually. So
he fucking beats fucking dents out of cars, fuck.
Oh, dude, he probably grabs tires and just lifting mufflers, everything. Dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Just in a car garage. No, I mean, I love this guy's cardio. I mean, it's fantastic. It's off the charts. He'll take you into deep waters and he'll knock you out. Before signing with the UFC, he fought Vic Grucic, who was actually on a season of The Ultimate Fighter Australia versus Canada. And Vic Grucic takes him down in the first round. In the second round, Vic gets tired, and this guy knocks him out. I mean, Jumo's a black belt in Taekwondo. He's a BJJ purple belt. And as I mentioned, his ability to take guys into deep water is where he exposes them. Shinzo Anzai is a career wrestler. Normally, this is a recipe for disaster. The wrestler's going to go out there at home in front of his hometown crowd, and he's going to take down the Taekwondo guy, and he's going to make him pay. But, I mean, Dominic still tried to do that against him, and he was able to use great hip movement, great foot speed, and hurt him in you know, the right timing, the right place, landing the right shot and hurting this guy. So I just feel like, okay, Jumo's got the power. He's got the cardio. He can take him to deep waters. Shinzo Anzai, meanwhile, hasn't fought in 2 years, is coming off a bad back injury, is a wrestler. So is he going to be able to wrestle at the same level he was before with this back injury? I don't know. Those are all good question marks. And finally, I mean, you look at his UFC debut, he gets rocked multiple times and then eventually knocked out by Alberto Mina, who's a world Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion, who does not knock guys out. Yet he was able to go out there and put nasty uppercuts on Shinzo Anzai and put him down. Jumo probably does the same thing. The thing is that the line kind of got out of hand. You could have got Jumo earlier on the week, minus 170, and that was nice. But now you're looking at it at like minus 245. Yeah. It's not nearly as appealing. But he should get the win, yeah.
Cody Saftik from the Fight Network with us. You can check him out. Check the videos out over to fightnetwork.com. Sift through all the wrestling videos. I'm sure there's some when there's events, right? When there's events, there's something up. Henderson and Pitbull. Henderson and Pitbull, main event, Bellator. Where's this card on Saturday? Where are they fighting in Bellator? What city are they in? Oh, San Jose, okay.
That's one of their big cards.
Yeah, San Jose, California. So Benson Henderson, he's lost twice in Bellator. People always think, oh, these UFC guys are going to steamroll everybody. But people don't realize these Bellator guys want to make a name for themselves and prove that, hey, I want to beat the guy that used to be the UFC champ, right? You know, they get fired up for this shit.
No doubt.
So Benson Henderson, I used to get confused sometimes, always with the Ferraris. There's the better one. This is the better one, right? The Pitbull's the better one. There's Patricio and Patricky.
Yeah, so they're actually both named Pitbull, and this is the worst of the two.
Oh, is this the worst one? Okay, so.
But you know what? Benson fought the other one too. A couple fights ago, he fought the.
Are they both named fucking Pitbull? Really?
Both of them are called Pitbull Freite. One's Patricky Freite and one's Patricio Freite. They're both known as Pitbull. And, Gabe, they own a gym that's called Pitbull Brothers. That's where they train at him. So, I mean.
I'm surprised Pitbull, the singer, hasn't sued him yet. Actually, you know, that's funny. He wouldn't sue him. Fuck, Pitbull bets on this shit, but that's another story.
I bet you if you were to go down.
You heard that story, right? That Pitbull shit?
Oh, yeah. Big time, man.
That's true, actually. Pitbull really did bet all that money. He was the one that moved that line.
Really? So
Yeah,
he likes laying it down just like the rest of us, eh?
Yeah, no, Pitbull for real fucking bet. Like, I don't know, I think it was 800,000 or something crazy. Dude, he's from Miami, right? So he knew Kimbo and Dada 5,000 and all those guys. Yeah, like there was a rumor, it was out there. It's true. And, you know, it's long enough and, you know, the sources are disconnected enough now that I'll throw it out there because he told me, he goes, I'll tell you it's true. And he goes, yeah, man, Pitbull's for real, fuck. Like behind the scenes, Pitbull's a big fucking better on the fight game, man. He's not like Floyd. He ain't posting tickets and shit about it.
No, and dude, honestly, I've always come to find that the real serious gamblers are the guys that aren't sticking bet tickets online, right?
Exactly.
When you're trying to go tout and stuff like that, that's what you do. And you see guys like that Vegas Dave. Vegas Dave's an idiot.
Vegas Dave. He's going to jail now, Vegas Dave, isn't he?
Idiot. That guy, I never enjoyed that guy whatsoever, man.
I always felt though Vegas Dave. First off, Vegas Dave was a good marketer. You know, he was a good marketer, you know, with the pictures. He always had like a trophy-looking chick with him. You know, he's driving a nice car, sitting at 50-yard line at the Super Bowl or whatever. So, you know, and the fish eat that shit up, right? If you're some 18-year-old fucking kid and you're buying pictures, you look at this kid, you look at Vegas Dave, you think, man, this guy's got it going on. And then he posts his $1 million bet tickets and shit.
Yeah.
And I'll give him credit for the hustle, but he played the other side all the time, right? So it was fucking brilliant though. You fucking get $1 million ticket. You fucking post it online. You get MSNBC and all these other people. Oh, look at this guy. He bets $1 million on the game and he's a handicapper. He's the real deal. Let's get him on. So you get the fucking marketing side of shit going. And then you secretly just fucking bet fucking $1 million on the fucking other side of the fucking game. And you don't tell anyone about it. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Like he had a great fucking little thing going on, but I don't know what his deal was. He was using different social security numbers at casinos and he had runners and shit. And he basically fucked around with the IRS too much.
Yeah, that was ultimately his issue, is that you got to pay taxes on that money in America. So you can't screw around too much. The thing that irked me especially is that he was working out deals with sports books where they would say, all right, Dave, we're going to give you $50,000 or $100,000 to bet and make it public. And so he's playing with house money, not his money. And he's putting out these tickets like, I just bet $100,000 on this.
Well, I remember, yeah, he said he bet 100 on Holly Holm, or what was it, on Misha Tate, fuck that time. Exactly.
He's hit it before. He hit the Misha Tate versus Holly Holm fight, which is a fight that she's losing, by the way, that she needs a 5th-round submission. She happens to get it. And then he bet her twice more after that. He bet her over Raquel Pennington, and she lost. He lost all the money he ever made in MMA. I can almost guarantee.
Yeah, I know. You're right, because it was minus 400.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's
he's got bigger problems now. He's dealing with the feds in a federal courtroom. Fuck.
Yeah, so I'll tell you something about Benson Henderson, right? You talk about the fact that, he's a former UFC champ. He's going to kill these guys in Bellator. Very rarely have I seen that bad of drubbings by people than him in his debut against Andrei Korshkov. I mean, 5 rounds of an absolute drubbing. But, hey, that's against a welterweight. So he drops down against Patricio Pitbull. Now, Patricio Pitbull is the younger brother of Patricky. He's actually smaller than Patricky. Patricky fights at 145. Patricio fights at 145. Patricky fights at 155. Patricio decides, I'm going to move up and I'm going to fight Benson Henderson. He wins the first round against Benson Henderson. He's a massive underdog, Gabe. I mean, Benson Henderson's a minus 250 against him, but he wins the first round against Benson Henderson. Now, round 2, he's beating Benson Henderson. He's about to go up 2-0. He kicks him and he breaks his own foot. That's how the fight, Benson wins it. Then Benson fights Michael Chandler. It's a crazy good fight, don't get me wrong, but he loses it. In a different world, he's actually 0-3 right now in Bellator. Now, the thing that bugs me about him, doesn't bug me, very honorable, but he's always said, I want to serve my 2 years of mandatory military service in Korea, because I'm half Korean, my mom's Korean. I've always wanted to go back to Korea, and if you're Korean, you have to serve mandatory 2 years. He doesn't have to because he's actually born in America, but he's always felt like, hey, it's my roots. I should go back and I should do that. It's something I want to do. He always talks about it. He's even talked about it as recently as last week. Well, I've only got 2 years left in this sport. That's 1 foot out the door. 1 foot out the door doesn't usually work out good for guys. Almost never works out good for guys. And that's what I'm getting out of him. I mean, listen, you can look at his last body of work, and was he good at one point? Yeah, but he arguably lost the Josh Thompson fight. I thought Josh Thompson beat him.
Cody, he lost to me
So many fights.
He lost his, and you could argue, well, going back to the Edgar fights, even though I was betting on Benson, so I was biased. I was like, no, he won. But I was going to say, he lost his fucking killer instinct when he fucking proposed in the ring and all that shit.
Yeah.
I don't want to simplify it, but it happens with fighters, guys. It does. You know, these guys that get married, they get the kids, and there's more to life than punching people in the face. And I'm not saying there isn't, but you know, if you want to be the best in the world, then you have to have a one-track mind. It's just, it is what it is. You know, George St. Pierre's single. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to be the best at that, you have to live. I'm not saying you have to be single, but you know, Benson, you know, it's just, I got married. I love her. You know, he lost his edge. I'm telling you, when he made a couple of bucks, he got married. He lost his edge, bro. Same with Cain Velasquez. Some of these guys lose the killer instinct. They just do.
Yeah, for sure. Here's actually a story about Benson Henderson. So before he actually proposed to his wife in the octagon, right? He's warming up in the back. He's getting ready. And Joe Silva comes back. Hey, Benson, everything's good to go. He says, I really got to ask you something. I want to propose to my girlfriend afterwards in the cage. And then Joe Silva, according to Joe Silva's words, he goes, the fuck is this guy talking about? He's getting ready to fight somebody, and he's not even thinking about the fight. He's thinking about how he's going to propose. 1 foot out the door. When I see the Patricio Pitbull fight, he doesn't throw anything. He's so lackadaisical and complacent that when I look at Patricky, who's the bigger, older brother, who's going to be able to ask little bro for advice, little bro's going to be in the cage cornering him. That line is just too much. Am I picking Benson? Yeah. Do I think he'll get that grinding style going? Yeah. But for this price tag, that's a stay away. And if you're a dog or pass kind of guy, then yeah, take the dog. But Benson's just untrustworthy at this point in his career.
Who's this dude? Fucking eye candy. He doesn't look like he's eye candy when I'm looking at his picture here. Ayala against Roy Nelson.
Yeah, I mean, Javier Ayala was fairly unheralded. I mean, he's been fighting Bellator for a long time, but he was fairly unheralded until he fought Sergey Haratonov in his last fight. Haratonov, former Pride standout, knocked out Alistair Overeem, big hulking heavyweight. He comes to Bellator. He's a hot signing, and he got crushed by Javier Ayala. So the thought process here is, hey, you know, he's a big body, he's a strong guy, he's a lot younger than one Roy Nelson. Maybe he's able to land that kill shot on Roy Nelson. Do you know what kind of man you have to be to knock out Roy Nelson? Literally, Gabe, it just does not happen. I mean, I was laughing at this the other day. When you have a quick search of the guys that he's gone the distance with in the UFC, it's literally everybody that you could possibly imagine. I mean, who are the most powerful?
It's a good news, bad news thing because, he's got the best chin ever. He's got that gut and all that. But, you know, it's good news, bad news. Yeah, you're tough as fuck, but you also hold the record. You've been punched more than anybody in UFC history. I don't know if he still holds the record, but at one point, or I should say a heavyweight, he's been punched more than any heavyweight. Like, he's been hit, like, literally, like, 2,200 times or something, Cody.
Fair enough. But if you want to just compare it, it almost seems like apples to oranges, right? Roy Nelson is losing to Derek Lewis, Josh Barnett, Alistair Overeem, Mark Hunt, Daniel Cormier, Stipe Miocic, Fabricio Verdum, Frank Mir, Junior Dos Santos. Those are all the best guys that have ever fought at heavyweight in the UFC, are the guys that are beating Roy Nelson. Javier Ayala, meanwhile, is getting submitted by Alex Huddleston and is by Carl Shugomatov.
He's got to win this fight. It's tailor-made for him. I'll lay the 220.
Yeah, once again, though, it's just too high of a price tag. I mean, he's 41 years old. He's making his Bellator debut. He's got very, very, very low ring IQ. And whereas this is normally an easy win for Roy Nelson, take him down, use that Gracie Jiu-Jitsu black belt that you never use. I spoke to him on the phone a week ago, and he was like, I'm just so happy to stand and bang. It's just banging, man. You're actually really good on the ground. Get him on the ground.
I know.
Hit him. So his poor game planning makes it very unappealing. When I look at the UFC card, I see some nice lines I like. When I see this Bellator card, it's not that I don't like the lines, just they're a little inflated for the favorites, right? People only know one side of the equation. They only really know Roy, so those are the guys they're going to bet on.
Larkin's minus 250. Is that a little high? And you talked about 1 foot out the door. I see Daly's talking about retirement around the corner. He goes, I want to retire, but not before I get the fucking beat. I want to fight Michael Venom Page. So Daly's at the end. Daly's admitting that he's not the same as he used to be, too.
Oh, not even a fraction of the same. I mean, it's actually been a really sad decline for him. I've always been a huge Paul Daly fan. If you look at his body of work, it's absolutely crazy. But you talk about 1 foot out the door. No, he's got 2 feet out the door. He's got over 60 pro fights. When you look at his kickboxing record alone, he's got 30 fights. You look at his MMA record, he's got 39 pro wins, 15 losses, sorry. I mean, he's been around for so long that even though he's only 34 years old, he's seen better days. The issue with him is that mentally he's not in it anymore. So Paul Daly actually owns a little gym called Spirit Dojo, and he's a businessman now, right? He's trying to train other guys. He's also had so much wear and tear on him that's hard to get up for fights anymore. So he decides, I want to fight Michael Venom Page. But in the meantime, he's got to fight Douglas Lima, and he loses that fight, and he seems so uninterested in the fight itself. Now, the Brendan Ward fight's a spectacular knockout, don't get me wrong. That last fight against Rory, once again, he's just going through the motions. Now, what bugged me against the Rory fight is he loses, and no big deal. I mean, it's the best guy on the planet. But you lose the fight, and then as soon as he loses the fight, Gabe, he goes outside of the cage, he gets in Michael Page's face, and starts chirping him, saying, I want you, I'm going to retire you, and they have this cool little exchange. That's his last hurrah. Clearly, that's his last hurrah. Now they rebook him in this fight against Lorenz Larkin. And when you interview the guy, when you talk to him, you say, well, what do you think about Lorenz Larkin? Oh, yeah, Lorenz Larkin's a good guy. But I'll tell you what, Michael Page, I'm coming for you. He's still talking about Michael Page. He's not looking at the guy in front of him. That cost him against Rory. It's going to cost him against Larkin. Larkin's super motivated, great shape. This is the type of price tag that I'll play. I'll take the minus 250 on Larkin because I do like him.
And I like, you're right about that. And Daly's the type of guy, when you already have 14, 15 losses, you don't give a shit if you lose.
What's another loss?
Yeah, he doesn't give a fuck. You're right. In his mind, he just wants the shot to punch fucking Venom Page, And we'll end. I'll let you out with this. And great insight, Cody. Great expert advice. I'll end on this. I had Venom Page on in the early days on MMA Meltdown.
Yeah.
And I had him on a couple of times actually and stuff. And he's fucking good, but at what point does he step up and start fighting real guys? Like, is he really good, or is he just sort of a showman being protected, fighting against, bums, so to speak?
You know what? I got mixed opinions on that. When I used to first see this guy in the regional scene, I thought, holy shit, it's the second coming of Anderson Silva. The thing is, he actually doesn't really fight like Anderson Silva.
No, he doesn't have. No, he's not. When I looked at him, I was like, he's the second coming of Roy Jones. Fuck.
Yeah,
he sort of got that a younger Floyd Mayweather. He's a combination of every cocky sort of fighter into one. But he's not like a real mixed martial artist, though.
No, not really. And the other thing too is that you look at his father, right? His father very similar to Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Stephen Thompson and Michael Page come from the same circles. It's that point kickboxing karate style, right? Stephen Thompson's father, massive influence in his life, was his coach from a very young age. Still hangs out with him now. Still gets him the stuff in, and he's a positive role model. Michael Venom Page's dad has been accused of raping students at the karate dojo, and he's been under investigation for a couple of years now. And it seems like the last couple of years is where Michael Page is getting hurt and pulling out of fights and barely scraping by Fernando Gonzalez in that fight they had in the UK. Terrible fight. But all the same, he just hasn't looked like the same guy. And I think we see this with pro athletes in every single sport. Mentally, if you're not there, if you've got the wrong people in your life, if you've got side distractions, it'll derail a promising career. And even though I really thought Michael Venom Page could do some scary stuff, it seems like he's at least temporarily been derailed. And listen, in fighting, you've got 10 years to run with it, man. You've got 10 solid years to go with this. Michael Venom Page is getting slower. He's a reflex-based fighter, and now that he's getting older and he's sitting on the sidelines and he's getting more injuries, he's not fighting as much, you got to think maybe his time is going to be a little bit off. So if they put him in there against Rory McDonald, he gets killed. He'll never be at that level, ever. But could he beat a guy like Paul Daly who has both feet out of the door? It's at least fun. I might be favoring Paul Daly because I think, hey, Paul Daly hates this guy and he's motivated. But Paul Daly doesn't hate Lorenz Larkin. He's just going through the motions of, oh, I'm going to knock this guy out. Oh, this guy's got nothing for me. Meanwhile, Lorenz Larkin's like, hey, I just signed a big Bellator deal. I lost my debut for the title. I got to work my way back to a title fight. I got to have a spectacular performance, and I got a good relationship with Scott Coker. Bellator's the place for me to be. I can grow here, but I got to go out and have a good win. And literally, this matchmaking, it says it all, right? They've given him striker versus striker, and he's probably one of the better strikers in the division. So let's see it.
Cody Saftik, Fight Network. Great stuff, Cody. Love to do this again. It's fun with the Google Hangouts and stuff. I like the video chat. Great stuff. Check Cody out over. Follow him on Twitter. What's the Twitter, Cody? Is it CJ Saftik?
At CJ Saftik. And I'm going to end on this, Gabe. If we're looking at these Bellator odds, a lot of them are inflated. Adam Piccolotti, minus 160. This kid's undefeated. He looks good. Minus 160, I like him. Goiti Almauchi, great BJJ. That's about it. He's a bit of a front runner. He's a bit of a fader. Piccolotti's a good wrestler.
Piccolotti, huh? We're betting on the Italian kid. I like it.
I like him.
Piccolotti. All right, great stuff. And yeah, and Pico's a huge favorite. So Pico's gonna win though, right?
I would assume. Hey, listen, he lost his debut, which was shocking to me. But this kid is the total package, and I think he does have a good rebound here against Justin Lin.
Hey, great stuff as always, Cody. Thanks for taking the time to be with me, bro.
Always, Gabe. Hey, and good thing we made a little bit of money on the football game.
Yeah, it worked out both of us. I know. Would have sucked if one of us would have been sour and shit. It's perfect. You win your money line. You hit the parlay. I hit the fucking +3. Winner. It's all good.
Hey, we both won tonight, so let's keep that rolling into tomorrow and Saturday's Bellator, right? How about another couple days away?
UFC tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow, too. If I don't see you at the office, I'll send you a text or something. I'll have some college football plays tomorrow night.
Cool. Sounds good to me, brother. Take care. Enjoy yourself.
Hey, good stuff, Cody. Cody Saftik, great insight. I enjoyed that. Yeah, you're not going to find a lot of people that know more about MMA than Cody Saftik. He said, and he's like me when I start talking about, and I know a lot about UFC and MMA, but I'm more of the UFC card, big shit. You know what I mean? I used to be more hardcore, but never hardcore like Cody. Like Cody's fucking watching fucking UFC Fight Pass and watching some fucking card from Poland and shit. I'm not doing that. You know, I watch the fights I bet on. You know what I mean? You guys talking John Gotti now. It's funny. I was just talking. Somebody asked me on Twitter today if I watched. There's a mob series made in Canada about the Rizzuto crime family in Montreal. There's a lot of ties. And in fact, do you remember when John Gotti fucking who did he kill? The Gambinos? When he smacked them outside of Sparks Steakhouse? It was actually guys from Montreal that fucking did the hit. The Rizzutos. Sammy the Bull Gravano just got released actually from jail the other day. For the record, Joey Odessa, MMA odds maker, he's a New York guy, and Joey told me that John Gotti Jr. is a good guy. For the record. He goes, yeah, I know John Gotti Jr. And he goes, don't good guy, just don't get in his way. And so, yeah, for the record, I believe John Gotti Jr. is in jail now, but the guys I know, odds makers and gamblers and stuff, they said John Gotti Jr. was cool with them. It was Paul Castellano. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it was the Rizzutos. It was the Rizzutos from Montreal that set that shit up. Except the Rizzutos are all whacked now. They're fucking pretty much whacked out. I did this is a funny story, and then we'll take our first break of the evening. I did a show in Montreal at this bar, okay? And I had a bunch of local sports personalities there. And I had this Ron Roosh guy who's a local newscaster, legend guy. So the show was on a fucking Friday night type shit. Okay. So on Thursday or Friday night. I think it was Thursday. I don't remember. Yeah, it was Friday actually. It was a Friday night. I forget the name of the place. It was in Laval. And I was in a shady strip mall type thing. And it wasn't much of a fancy place, I'll put it that way. So I do this live radio show on the radio, and I have local TV guys, mainstream guys there. And then Sunday night, I'm watching the fucking news, and there's some fucking kid. There's a big feature on the news, and they're all sports gambling can seem harmless until you rack up a big debt. And they had some kid sitting in the fucking dark. And the kid went he ratted everybody out. So the kid's in the dark, and he's all I feel for my life. I lost, all I do is bet on sports. I lost. And they weren't going to kill him. Fuck, the kid only owed fucking $8,000 or something stupid. And so the kid went to the fucking news, all right? Because he went to the cops, and the cops laughed at him. The cops in Montreal don't play around, all right? So the kid went to the cops, and the cops fucking knew who was running the book. And the kid said to the cops, "Oh, I owe money." And they said, "How much money do you owe?" And the cops told the kid, "Don't worry about it." And they said, "Well, don't bet, fuck. And you know what? Man up and face up to them. Pay your bills, kid." The cops told the kid, "Pay your bills, fuck." And they said, "No, we're not going to the fucking Rizzuto's. And fucking, what do you want us to do?" And so the kid fucking parents, went to the news. And went to the news and said, "Oh, my son lost money to the mob and fucking," and we went to the cops, and the cops fucking laughed at us and told us, "Don't bet with the mob." and then the news did this big feature, and the news fucking got in the cops' face. And they said, "Well, this kid was scared. And what did you," and the cop fucking said, "Betting on sports is a victimless crime." He goes, "No one's forcing anyone to bet." He goes, "We got bigger fucking things to worry about than some fucking kid that's betting on hockey." Like the cop of Montreal basically stated, it's a victimless crime. No, because the news is all, "Well, you don't care about sports betting." And basically the cop was like, "No, we don't." Like he essentially stated, nobody's forcing anyone to bet. And he basically stated it's like prostitution. He said, it's grown adults, you have your own whatever. And also, the cops in Montreal are all part of it. Fuck. So they're like, they're not going to do anything. So they fucking went to, so the kid went to the news. And the news did this story. Except in the story, the kid fucking said that he fucking paid people at the fucking place where I did the show. So I'm watching the news and I'm watching this kid. I'm like, what the fuck? So it's a sports fucking gambling stuff. So of course they piqued my interest. So I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, this fucking kid. I'm like, oh my God, this kid's a fucking moron. I'm like, what are you doing, kid? I'm like, no one was going to hurt you. Fuck. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing? So then they were like, then the news, so the chick was like, "So how does this work?" And they're like, "So basically how it works is, you have an agent and, you bet with them. And then once a week you meet." And then they said, and the meeting spot would often be sleazy sports bars in strip malls. And then they showed the fucking place. Okay. So they showed the place. And then they go to a commercial break and they're like, and coming up next is sports with Ron Roosh. Ron Roosh was in this fucking place 2 nights earlier. Right? So I'm thinking, I'm watching, I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm like, oh my God, they just showed the fucking place I did the show. And they're like, Ron Roosh coming up next with sports. And I just see Ron Roosh's face at the end of the report. They're like, and Ron's sitting there, and they're like, and Ron Roosh is sports. And I just see Ron's face kind of look into the camera, and Ron's fucking probably spinning in his mind, thinking, oh my God, I was fucking in this fucking bar 48 hours ago. They're showing. So I get a fucking call from Ron Roosh the next day. He's like, what the fuck? He goes, what kind of place? He goes, what kind of place you doing shows at? He goes, we do a fucking show to do a fucking special on the fucking news the next fucking night. And fucking, Oh, it was fucking gold. I'm like, yeah, sorry, Ron. I said, yeah, I didn't know it was fucking, fuck. How the hell do I know that that's the fucking headquarters where they fucking meet? Fuck. I'm like, I'm watching on the news. I'm like, oh yeah, they're like fucking frequent mob hangout. I'm like, oh fuck. Remember, I fucking buddy asked me after. He's like, so great show on Friday. You want to come back next month? He goes, we're thinking you can come every Monday Night Football. I was like, no. I said, I don't think that's a good idea. I said, I better not be doing shows there anymore. What story? But I'll tell you, it's a little secret on all the social clubs. The cops don't want any part of it, fuck. The cops don't want any part of that stuff. It wasn't in the newspaper. It was on the TV news. I can tell you, I got crazy fucking stories from sports books, guys. Trust me. I got called once by the Canada's version of 60 Minutes. The Fifth Estate. The Fifth Estate's like one of the best investigative journalistic shows in the world. Like, these motherfuckers can find out what happened to Bin Laden, fuck, for real. Like, they know everything about everything, fuck. They fucking called me once about a sports book. They're like, do you know this sports book? I'm like, no. They're like, you sure? I'm like, yeah, I don't know them. I never heard of them, fuck. And then they're like, do you know the owner? I'm like, no. And then they're like, well, you know, it's kind of funny because we're looking at your tweets here from 5 years ago, and you say that it's the best sports book in the world. And I'm like, yeah, so? I said to the guy, I said, listen, buddy. I said, I've been on TV for 15 fucking years, all right? I said, you know how many sports books I've advertised? I said, I probably pimped 20 sports books over the years. I said, you think I met the head of every fucking sports book I ever fucking met? You know, you think I met the head of every sports book? Whatever, because the guy killed someone with a golf club, fuck. That is in the newspaper. Yeah. It was actually in Costa Rica. It actually happened in Costa Rica. Fucking dude fucking beat the dude with a golf club to death. You know, like I said, I fucking, yeah, it's a good way to go. If you're going to die, you die playing golf. I like Rich's style. Rich is positive. The guy didn't get murdered by a fucking golf club. He died playing golf. I'll tell you what, man. Toronto's fucking out of control right now. I see that Drake, the singer Drake, his fucking buddy, his friend, got fucking whacked the other day here. Brazen shot. Two guys on video, too. They released the video the other day to the public. Two dudes just walked up to the dude and shot the guy fucking like a lobby. And some Italian guy, real estate guy, got fucking whacked. And the thing is, they're saying that the kid that did it was Haitian. So let me get this straight. So you have a real estate agent, an Italian real estate agent sitting in a fine steakhouse on a Sunday evening in downtown Toronto, and a Haitian kid randomly walks into this restaurant, targets him, and doesn't shoot anybody else, doesn't do anything else, and fucking flees the fucking scene. I told you, they were like, cops suspect it was a targeted hit. Yeah, oh, no. No. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, it's funny. You know, we're going to change the subject after this, but I'm going to tell you right now, it's a big mystery right now in Toronto. Like, they're like, if anyone has any information, you know anything, I'll tell you fucking right now. What the fuck do you think happened? You guys fucking not stupid? Do the fucking math, fuck. Haitian kid, where do you think the kid came from? Where do you fucking think the kid came from, fuck? Like, do I have to do your job for you guys? Maybe I would. Maybe I'd fucking tweet you and say, hey, figure it out. You guys that stupid, but stop busting pot dispensaries, and maybe fucking you can solve people getting shot in the street every day. You know, I'm telling you, Kyle, I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. You can whack somebody in Toronto and get away with it. I'm not saying it's a guarantee. Like, put it this way. I'm from Montreal, and you whack someone in Montreal, like, unless you're part of a protected scene, you're getting nailed. Like, the Montreal Homicide Department has like a 92% fucking rate, like, or even more. It's like 96%. Like, seriously. Like, they don't let up. Like, in Montreal, if you whack someone, they're going to fucking get you. They'll find out. They won't stop. Like, they'll fucking pursue it. Toronto, so many people get shot. People think Canada's all, like, whatever. But Toronto, there's like fucking 6 shootings a day on the street, and the cops have no information about anything. Like, if you can help us, please help us. The thing with Toronto is the city's so fucking big. There's a lot of places to shoot people and like. So yeah, maybe if the fucking cops in Toronto would stop picking on the weed dispensaries all the time, you guys wouldn't fucking have fucking Drake's buddy getting shot in the middle of the street. Jax J says the world would be better if 6 billion people were eliminated. Who are you, Bill Gates? Fuck. We got Bill Gates in the chat. Jax J is fucking Bill Gates and fucking we're talking about famous fucking people. All right, we'll take. We're changing the subject now. All right, it started with fucking a little mob talk. I don't know. You guys started talking about Gotti. I brought up fucking the bull getting released. All I said is there's a good TV series on about the Rizzutos. Then it turned into fucking bookie talk, and let's just change the subject before we get whacked. I'm actually wrapping up the show now, big man. Big man's all fired up now. I'm taking a break right now, and I'm going to come back and wrap up the show. I wouldn't mind talking a little mob talk. I'm a mob talk junkie guy. I read John Gotti's books. I used to read the New York Post. Fucking, I know people. I'm from Montreal. You know what I mean? Big man want to cancel mob talk. It's not a good idea to do mob talk. It's okay if you don't actually know these guys. I can never fucking find anything in this fucking place. I swear, man. It's fucking insane. Yeah, my favorite John Gotti line is at the end when he's sentenced to life in prison. He's in the elevator in the courthouse. And he looked over and he told the guards, all I wanted was a good tuna sandwich. I never found one. John Gotti was on a mission for a good tuna salad sandwich in the city of New York. He could never find one. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back with some closing thoughts and give you an overnight opinion on these college football games for tomorrow. Epic fucking comeback tonight, though. Hey, holy shit! Nice to be on the right side of that. We've had some bad beats this year, guys, but no complaints there. No complaints there. We finally, can't complain. We're on the right side of a nice comeback. Sets up nicely. And if you guys paid attention to what Cody Saftik and I were talking about, guys. There's a lot of fucking money to be made tomorrow. These totals, I'm telling you. I see like 6 or 7 of the fights that we can win, man, tomorrow. I'll recap them before we're done. And then we'll be on live tomorrow night for this stuff. You know, you figure for someone that's a metalhead such as myself, I would hate music like this, but I actually don't. I like it. It's upbeat. Except I hate clubs like this. I don't listen to a lot of electronic music, but I don't mind it. I prefer the real shit. This is just knockoff, copyright-free stuff. And not really dance music. I like Crystal Method. Who are the other ones? The Chemical Brothers. Shit like that's all right. Crystal Method's really good. Chemical Brothers are pretty good. I like anything that's sort of heavy, and this is heavy in its own right. It's aggressive in its own right. It's aggressive in its own right. Keep people going in the late night hours. Yeah, like I don't mind the music. I don't mind the music, but I hate that techno shit when it's cranked and you're in a club. Boom, 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 boom. I don't do ecstasy. I don't do ecstasy, or I don't do any of that like young guy MMA, Molly, and MMA, MGA, whatever the fuck they call it. I don't do any of that stuff, man. I blaze weed and shit, but I don't do any of that stuff. So I used to work. I used to be in a metal band, but I used to work in the music business. I used to work at raves and stuff, man. I saw people OD and shit, man. Taking ecstasy. I saw like a hot fucking girl, man. Just fucking boom. I thought she was dead, fuck. They actually saved her. I've seen some nasty shit with that stuff. Yeah, I like that. Boom, 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 boom. Fucking. It's not for me. You know what it is? I don't like the people in those clubs. I don't want to be I don't like nightclubs. I'm not a nightclub guy. Like I'm a dive bar guy. I'm a dive bar guy. I don't go to nightclubs. I don't go to any place where I need to wait in line. I don't like places with dress codes. I don't like places with jerk off fucking dudes trying to pick up chicks. I don't like fucking uptight chicks in fucking dresses that think they're Beyonce. When you're you're a cashier at Walmart, fuck. You work at Walgreens, all right? Take the makeup and your heels off, baby. You got attitude outside the club. You work at fucking Walgreens, fuck. I'm not down with any of that shit. Yeah, I'm not down with that stuff. I don't go out much. I'm on the air every night, as you guys know. I'm here. You know what I'm saying? I don't go out, but if I do, I prefer like a punk rock bar, metal bar, dive bar. I'm more of a bar type guy. Like when I'm in Vegas, I drink in the casino. Like I don't go to the clubs. I'm that guy that sits in the middle of the casino at one of those round bars and fucking watches the game on the screen, Exactly. Sports bars, dive bars, metal bars, punk bars, strip clubs, anything sort of, sleazier. I don't go to nightclubs. I really don't. I used to a bit. I was forced to. In the old days, I used to cover MMA, and I was, we were big time and shit. We had the Giants as our sponsor and all that shit. I hosted a party with the fucking Octagon girls, Ariane Celeste, in a nightclub in Montreal. Boom, boom. Ariane Celeste dancing with Ariane Celeste. That's good time. I'm not going to lie. It's late at night, so I can tell you a true story. But yeah, once I went after a UFC event to a nightclub in Montreal. It was fucking nuts, man. Me, Cam Stewart, Vanderlei Silva, and a couple other dudes did a lot of blow. Fucking, we're in this VIP area. Once in a while you live the fucking life. You know what I mean? Hanging with a bunch of UFC fighters in a VIP area at this nightclub, and we were on like this upper deck in the balcony, and it was just anything went up there, man. It was a fucking drug fest, essentially. Fuck. I say Vanderlei Silva because he's old. He doesn't get tested. He's done. There were other guys there too. Fuck, They knew I was from Montreal. They were like, people here? I was like, yeah, I guess. I was like, all right, I can make a few calls. But anyways. All right, so what do we got tomorrow in the college grid? We got so worked up tonight talking UFC, and we got some great picks for you tomorrow night. Well, listen, for those of you that care, and I know you're all gamblers here, so just a quick recap with the UFC. We're going to be on live at 10 tomorrow night during the main card. So the prelims, there's nothing really. Cody made a big case for the Luke Jumo guy. He's minus 250, maybe parlay material. But Gokhan Saki, the big play tomorrow, Gokhan Saki, minus 175 is on the side. But the totals are where we're going tomorrow. We're hitting all these overs, man. Ishishara versus Rolando Dai, over 1.5, minus 170. OSP versus Okami, minus 1.5, minus 188. That's climbing right now. I think people are clicking it. Nakamura and Murano, over 2.5, minus 163. Formiga and Sasaki, over 2.5, minus 170. That's 4 or 5 plays. Follow me on Twitter. I posted, follow me on, I'm going to give the picks tomorrow on the Fantasy Sports Network. My plays of today, it's up on the Fantasy Sports Network YouTube page. And what do we got in college football tomorrow night? Is it Utah, Arizona? I haven't done any work for this game, so I'm not going to lie. I'll break it down on TV tomorrow. What do we got? We got Virginia and Boise State. Yeah, this is the game. I know Boise State are on a 1-12 ATS run as home favorites. I think this is the one where Boise probably pays them. Virginia suck. But I haven't capped this game. But my gut instinct tells me Virginia fucking blow and can get blown out. Boise's got to cover a game one of these fucking nights. What's the total in this football game? $51. I'm leaning to the over. Boise State minus 12.5, 51. I just don't think much of Virginia. All right, I saw Utah earlier in the week. We're minus 3. It's up to 3.5 right now. I like the Utes here. Let's not get fooled. We were all on, we had a big good time last Friday night on the show. We went fucking 5-0 in that one game with Arizona and UTEP. That was UTEP, all right? I'm a big Kyle Whittingham fan. I'm not a big Rich Rod fan. This is almost like Pete Carroll versus Mike Mularkey. Kyle Whittingham is one of the best coaches in college football. Rich Rod is one of the worst coaches in college football. I think with the Boise game, I don't trust them. I just think Virginia suck, okay? But I think 51's too low for a total in that game. And the Arizona game, Arizona are no good, guys. Everyone's talking about firing Rich Rod, and they beat the shit out of UTEP, and suddenly this line's only 3.5. We saw Utah is very capable. They went on the road and beat up on BYU. Like I said, I'm a big Kyle Whittingham fan. I look at this game. This is like Pete Carroll versus Mike Mularkey. You got Kyle Whittingham versus Rich Rod. Come on. No, Rich Rod's not a bad recruiter. He's just not a good in-game coach. And, let's be real. Arizona's a basketball school. Arizona's a basketball school. People are going to think, oh, Arizona this, Arizona that. They want to fire Rich Rod. Well, when was Arizona ever good? I remember briefly during the Desert Storm era. Remember that? Desert Storm, the war, the Desert Swarm. They called their defense a Desert Swarm. They were okay. Arizona's never been good, folks. I don't know what they expect. Look at the Pac-12. Who's going to go to Arizona? You got a lot of hot chicks in Arizona. Good party school, ASU as well. But, be real. If you're a good player, you've got UCLA, you've got Oregon, you've got Washington, you've got USC. That's just off the top of my head. That's 4 programs that are at the top of the list that you would play before you played Arizona. They were good, like I said, about 20 years. They had a little run a little while ago. They had a Hawaiian guy as a quarterback. What was it? Tuisopo? He was at Washington, but it wasn't a few of them. Didn't Arizona have a quarterback with a really long name? But that's the thing. Arizona's a hoop school. They're not a football program. Like Arizona being a bowl team, that's, like there's a lot of programs that sort of overestimate who they are. Tennessee does that to me. The Tennessee Volunteers. You guys aren't Alabama, fuck. You're not even LSU. You're Tennessee. Tennessee to me, you're the equivalent of Michigan State. You know what I mean? Like you're middle tier SEC team. Yeah, we're gonna fire Butch Jones. Who's taking the job, fuck? Yeah, Nick Saban's leaving Alabama to take your job. Like there's Nebraska. There's a lot of these programs. Like, I know it sucks, Nebraska. Yeah, you were a power, fuck, in the 80s. You were. The game has changed right now, and you're not getting a blue chip kid that wants to fucking move to fucking Lincoln, Nebraska. I don't know what to tell you. It just is what it is. Yeah, Penn State. Right now, Penn State, they're walking the walk, right? Penn State, but you big man on camp, you're a big college guy. You know what I'm saying? You have these college programs, they bitch about their coaches, they bitch about losing games, and they fire the coach. It's like, who the fuck are you hiring? Who the fuck do you think you are? Like, do you think that, Mike Tomlin's leaving the Pittsburgh Steelers and he's coming to Tennessee? Or Jim Moore is going to leave LA and UCLA and the fucking $2 million or whatever and fucking go to fucking Knoxville. Like, they don't get it. Like there's a lot of these programs, they don't get it. Arizona is like that. It's like, yes, your weather is nice. So what? It's not enough. It's not enough. UNLV is like that, believe it or not, too. Like basketballs now. Oh, wow, how come this guy? Look, no one wants to coach you. Yeah, you won a fucking championship 25 years ago with Jerry Tarkanian. And you paid off every fucking player. Yeah, Notre Dame is another one. Notre Dame's not what they used to be, but they're still Notre Dame. Well, listen, we're all shitting on Penn State. Yeah, like UNLV basketball still considers themselves like an elite program. It's like, guys, you can't even win the Mountain West tournament. You're not an elite program, UNLV. I lived there, and they were sort of coming back, and I never forget this. I got to get out of here because it's getting late, but I'll never forget this. It was a big thrill for me. I'm a big Larry Johnson fan. So, and I don't say a big thrill often, guys. I've had a lot of people on my shows over the years. I don't get excited often, but I was doing an afternoon show on Fox Sports Radio. I think Druzilla was listening to the show at the time. And remember, we had UNLV running Rebel greats in there. Larry Johnson and fucking Anderson Hunt, fuck. I was goo-goo, fuck, all right? I was like, this is the greatest. I was like, man, I've interviewed everybody, but this is like the greatest day ever. Fuck, I was so happy. I was in Fox Sports Radio in Vegas, kicked back. I remember I smoked a big split from the parking lot. I went into the studio. There's Larry Johnson. I'm like, fucking right, man. And Larry smelled the weed on me. He started laughing. He goes, you smell good, man. And Larry Johnson was drunk, okay? And it was only like 2 p.m. And he reeked the booze, man. And I told Larry, I started telling him stories about how I lived in Hollywood and I bet and I was living on the street and I watched these games on the street on a fucking, I stood on the street and watched it in the window of a store. And he was like, man, it's fucking hardcore, man. So, and Larry Johnson's a cool dude. So I hit it off with Larry Johnson and shit. And I remember, UNLV were getting pretty good. They had Anthony Bennett. They were in first place in the Mountain West. They were battling with SDSU. They weren't a joke. They weren't the best, but they weren't a joke. They were ranked and shit. They were ranked like 16th or 18th or whatever. And I said to Larry Johnson, I said, it must feel good to be, I said, what's it like to be in? He's, oh, it's great. And they had a reunion type shit. He's like, oh, it's great to be back. It's like a second home to me. And, it's very important. We won a championship. And I said to him, it must be nice to see UNLV basketball back. And he took offense to it. And he goes there and then he goes back. And he goes, well, they ain't back. And he goes, winning a championship is back. And Larry Johnson, like, just cut right to the chase. Fuck. He goes, they got to start out by winning a Mountain West tournament. And, they're not back. And then off the air, like on the air, he was kind of, and he was drunk. So I think he said more than he wanted to. And he sort of dialed it back a bit. And like I said, Jorge Gonzalez was there, and Jorge's a big booster and gets sponsored. So Jorge was like fucking freaking out. No, don't bash UNLV. But it's Larry Johnson, fuck, right? And then as soon as we got off the air, fuck, Larry Johnson was like, they ain't fucking shit, man. And I swear he told me, he goes, Bennett ain't going to do shit. And he goes, they ain't shit. And he goes, they ain't fucking back. And he goes, I just didn't want to fucking rip them. And Larry Johnson, we're standing, Larry Johnson's like ripping the fuck out of UNLV. He's like, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. The fucking coach is an idiot. The fucking president of the school's an idiot. Like, Larry just went off on fucking, Larry's got the fucking drink in his hand. And then he says to me, he's like, where are we drinking, dog? And then he goes, yeah, let's go to a casino. And I was like, fuck. And I had to do a TV show and shit. I was like, fuck. This is my chance to go get drunk with Larry Johnson at a casino in Las Vegas, of all places. UNLV. I could get drunk with the Running Rebels, fuck. And they're surly, too. Larry Johnson's a surly dude, fuck. I fucking... Yeah, Larry Johnson's got money, though. Or at least he did, fuck. I think I saw recently, fucking... Was he bankrupt, too? I'm like, did I see a Larry Johnson blew all his money story the other day? I don't think so. I think he was getting sued. That was it. I think some chick saying, he owes fucking money or something. I'll tell you what, Larry Johnson, man, motherfucker had the watch. Like, there's certain dudes that have, like, you can tell, like, when, they made real money, big money, soda money. That's what I remember. Larry Johnson wasn't dressed well. That's like he was cool. Like he had like fucking, he was wearing like Nike or Adidas or Nike fucking t-shirt and shit. But man, he had like one of those fucking diamond encrusted fucking watches on. Fucking, I was like, damn, man, it's fucking quite the watch there. He's like, arr. No, that's what I'm saying. Like Larry Johnson, he had money. And I remember in Vegas, somebody told me, they said, no, he's got money. Fuck. Like compared to the other guys on the Rebels, Larry Johnson had money. He made a lot of money in the NBA. And the thing with Larry Johnson is all he does is drink. Like he doesn't do stupid shit, right? So Larry Johnson likes to drink, though. He likes to pound him back. That's it. Sorry, I confused it. Charles Oakley is suing the fucking Knicks, maybe, whatever. Anyways, we got to get out of here. Story time's over. Nice night of picks. Come back. We lose the unders, but we hit all those in-game overs. We have San Francisco covers. Oh, Mario Martinez. Yeah, I remember those days. Yeah, you know what? I never met Jerry. I did actually. I was going to say I had Jerry Tarkanian on my radio show before, but it was over the phone. And then I met Tarkanian in Vegas when I lived there, but I didn't meet him over the phone online on the air. But when I say I met him, it's like I met him. I've talked to him on the phone in interviews twice, and I used to see him in Vegas all the time. He used to eat at a restaurant that was right beside my condo. So I used to see him coming out all the time. And I just say, hey, how you doing, coach? He wasn't doing well, though. He was old and sort of shrinking and shit. I just say, hey, coach, I told his fucking his son once. I said, yeah, I had him on my show a couple of times. I tried to get him on in Vegas. When they told me, they said, he's not well. Like, he was a very nice man, Jerry Tarkanian. Like, for a guy that was a big star and shit, like, he didn't have a big ego. Like, with fans and stuff. He had a big ego in real life, but with fans, he was very nice. And, he was a nice guy. But, yeah, I could tell you a lot of Tarkanian stories. But, yeah, I'll tell you, tomorrow we'll tell a story. We'll get with Big Man on Campus. It'll be fun. We'll tell stories and give you some picks. But Mario Martinez, one of my biggest betting stories ever. is when I was a kid, I was younger then too. So, you know, you were a ball boy. So I was probably about 18, 19 at the time when maybe I was 20. No, I was probably 22, 23. I'll look up the years. But when Tarkanian left UNLV on bad terms and he went to Fresno State, I remember I fucking owed a bookie $13,000 I owed a bookie $13,000 fuck. And I had $20,000 credit limit. And I was down $13K. And I was a little shithead. I didn't have the money. I only had like $4,000 or $5,000. I avoided the guy 1 week. And I basically got the call. And they said, listen, no fucking around, kid. You got to fucking pay up your bill here. And they said, you know, tab is fucking 12,700 right now. And, you know, you've got to 20K. You know, you're cut off after 20. We're giving you a heads up. Nice guys, actually. You know what I mean? Honorable bookies. They gave me the heads up. They said, you got to fucking pay out this Friday your bill. No fucking around. And, you know, but you do, your credit's good up to 20 still. So I was down fucking like $12,000, $13,000. I had about $4,000 money and a couple of pounds of hash under my sink. And I was like, well, if I fucking sell these pounds of hash, fuck, I could raise maybe $4,000 or $5,000. I used to be a young hustling kid, right? So, but anyway, I was in trouble. I didn't have the fucking money. So, I didn't have the money. And I had the credit, and I'll never forget. I bet on a Fresno State basketball game. Jerry Tarkanian. And most sane people would have tapped out and said, well, I only have $4,000 and I owe the fucking guys $13,000 and I have 48 hours to come up with $10,000 and I'm not going to be able to do it. But I was a young and stupid kid. So I basically said, well, I have up to $20,000 credit. So I put $7,000 on the Fresno State Bulldogs. I put $7,000 on Fresno State. I'll never forget. I went to a movie with my ex-girlfriend. I went to a movie. And there was no internet in those days. Score lines. I went to a movie with my girlfriend. And I went to use the fucking phone during the movie like 5 to 7 times. And I was nervous as fuck, okay? I'm young. I'm nervous. I've got $20,000 essentially riding on it. I got 48 hours. Like, you know. So I'm in the fucking theater, and I tell her I got to go to the bathroom. So I go to the bathroom. I'm fucking calling the fucking 1-800 number, fuck. And you used to have to wait. So I had to go through all the scores. And it was like Fresno State, 20, Long Beach, 18. And I'm like, fuck. I'm like, fuck, I'm laying fucking 14 points, man. Go back into the movie. 7 minutes later, I got to go to the bathroom. I must have done this like fucking 4 or 5 times, okay? I'm nervous. I'm telling her I got to go to the bathroom every minute. She follows me to the fucking thing one of the times. She sees me on the phone. She thinks I'm cheating on her. She thinks I'm cheating on her. She like fucking like just gonna storm out of the theater and shit. You know, but what was I gonna tell her? Fuck. And like I said, she knew I was a crazy gambler, but I couldn't, what am I gonna tell her? Listen, baby, I got $20,000 riding on this, and you know, I owe these guys $20,000 if this game loses, and I'm kind of nervous and I need to score. So she sees me on the phone. She's like, I fucking knew it. You're fucking around on me. You're calling some other fucking girl. Why would you come to a movie with me only to fucking... So I had to tell her, I said, listen, I'll be honest with you. I'm calling a score line. She doesn't believe me. She didn't believe me. So I'm like, I'm serious. I said, look, you know, I can call it back. She's like, you could call anyone back. And I'm telling her, I said, no, look. And I fucking, in the old days with the phone, I had the number in the phone. I said, listen, when we get home, look in the fucking phone, and you're going to see I'm calling this 800 number. All right? And I'm like, I'm telling you, I'm not cheating on you. I'm calling a fucking score line. Okay? So, no, but the thing is, I hung up when she fucking was storming out. I'm on the phone. She comes out of the in the theater. She sees me. She's like, you fucking asshole. I fucking knew it. You're fucking cheating on me. So she started walking away. So I hung up and ran after her and shit. So, either way, you're screwed. You either have to admit you're cheating on her or confess to being a degenerate gambler. So, it's one of these in-betweens, fuck. So I told her, listen, and the thing is, too, she also she was really suspicious because she didn't believe me another time. Somebody's, remember the old pick lines? Remember the old pick lines? I bought picks from fucking like Dr. Bob or something, fuck. But it was a 976 number. So she thought I was calling a sex line. She's like, first it's a sex line, and now you're on the phone. She's like, I don't know what who are you? What are you doing? Like, so I told her, listen, it's not a sex line. And she was like, so you're paying somebody to tell you? She's like, you already know who's going to win. I'm like, yeah, but this guy's on a run. And I'm like, fucking, so I'm explaining to her the gambling scene, right? So she thinks I'm calling 97. She sees the phone bill, fuck. It's like, because they charge it, and the score lines used to charge it to your phone bill. They weren't free. So, I'm getting fucking phone bills, like $200. She's like, what's this? You're jerking off to phone sex? And what's this 976? I'm like, she didn't believe, like, she didn't understand that there were score lines and pick lines. And she was a French chick, too. She was a French stripper. She didn't understand this stuff, right? And she was a stripper, so she saw the worst in men. So she didn't believe men about anything. She was like, you're all pigs, fuck, right? So, no, but she finally believed. She caught on when she started to see big stacks of money and shit. So she caught on. So yeah, I'm at the theater and shit. I fucking salvaged the shit with the girl. And I'm calling all night and stuff, and I'm getting the scores, and it was close, man. And, remember, it was a later game, so I had to go through all the scores, fuck. And it really was like a stereotype out of the movie. It really, like, they spoke slow and shit, right? Because they were charging you, man. I used to have fucking like $10 in quarters in my pocket, like a fucking guy going to a peep show. I used to drop quarters into payphones to get scores, fuck. I'm like, ding, ding, ding. I'm like fucking staying on hold, putting more quarters in, fuck. And I'm like, all right, Fresno State, 53. Long Beach, 40. I'm like, all right, fuck, they're up by 13 now. Yeah, and I knew the score would update like every 15 minutes or so on the phone. So I'd be like, there's nothing I can do. I got to wait another 15 minutes, fuck. There's no internet, guys, all right? There's no fucking internet in these guys. All you kids right now, there's no internet. You're lucky your old AM radio would get games. I wasn't getting the Fresno game, fuck, in Montreal. Fresno and Long Beach or whatever, fuck. So they fucking won. They covered. So my 13 debt went down to 6. The next fucking night, I fucking hammered fucking a Michigan game. All right? I think it was Michigan. And I forget the next one. I remember the story to a T that was Tarkanian and Fresno and everything. But I remember the next night, I got it down to 6. And right away, I was like, well, I have 4,000. And then I got attitude. I was like, these guys are going to threaten me and tell me I better pay. We're going to see what happens here. I fucking nailed them, fuck. I fucking reversed it. I went from 13,000 to them owing me 7,000 in like fucking 72 hours. Crazy fucking shit. Now, the thing is, though, this is where I will admit I was a sleazeball. I was a younger kid, though. I was a younger kid, so I owed them money for a couple of weeks, fuck. And I had some of it, but I was fucking dodging them and shit. Except fucking phone identification was just invented in that era. My whole life, there was never that. You could never see who was calling or where they were calling from. Except it was just invented like right around then. So I was so deviant this is like a pathetic gambler story. I was so pathetic as a degenerate gambler, as like an 18-year-old, that I owed these guys money and I didn't have it. So I actually fucking drove for fucking 2.5 fucking hours to another city to call them. No shit. That's just pathetic. Like, I'm embarrassed telling this part of it. I fucking went to fucking Ottawa to fucking call them and say, I would love to meet you, but I'm fucking holed up in Ottawa, man. I got the money, man, but I'm in Ottawa right now. As you can see on the caller ID, you know, like, like, how devious is it? Like, just like low, like, I got a buddy of mine. I told someone, I said, listen, I'm in a jam. I said, I got to call these guys, except they're not going to, like, it's not going to be good. So I said, I got to go to fucking Ottawa. We got to get into another area code. Fuck. All right. and my mother lived right on the, I said, we got to drive to my mother's house out there. And her phone is in another fucking area code. And I got to fucking, you know. So I fucking go the old, I'm like, listen, man, I'd love to meet you. I've got the money. I'd love to meet you, but man, you know, I'm up here with my mother and like, I'm in the middle of nowhere, bro. I can't get there by tomorrow. And like, you know, let's just carry it over to next week. Yeah, no, yes and no. Yes and no. It wasn't like the Genoveses or anything, but it was two younger dudes, and it was good cop, bad cop. One of the guys was cool. One of the guys wanted to beat me up. Like, one of the guys would threaten me. The other guy would, like, be cool. So, I was a dumb kid. And the thing is, the guy told me, he goes, listen, he goes, if you don't have all the money, that's fine. But he goes, you got to stop betting over your head. You know, he goes, you can't put $4,000 on a game, kid, if you don't have it. Like, you know, he's telling me, he goes, I'm teaching you this for your own good. I'm like, yeah, I know, fuck, you know, and like fucking, so, yeah, I know. So fucking, I had to drive all the way to another fucking area code, okay? And that led up to me getting the $13,000, fuck, the debt going up. So the week I won, I avoided them for like 2 weeks, fuck, all right? And then I won. Then I'm up fucking $7,000 fucking dollars. And then, of course, suddenly I'm back in town. Hey, how you doing? I'm back in town. Hey, yo, you got that $7K? So the guy tells me, yeah. He goes, yeah. He goes, yeah, it's quite a run by you, huh? He goes, so when'd you get back? Totally talking to me like, you know, he goes, when'd you get back from Ottawa? I'm like, I just got back, you know, a couple of days ago. And he's like, oh, he goes, yeah, it's quite the run you just went on, huh? And then he just gets into it. He goes, yeah, it's amazing how, you know, you strung us out and then, you know, you just went on a run and now you expect me to pay you $700-800. So I can tell on the phone, I'm like, this isn't good, fuck. And speaking of Montreal, I met them outside the Orange Julep. You can look it up right now. Just punch in Montreal Orange Julep. The Orange Julep. The Orange Julep is a julep place, but it's a big orange. Okay? It's like a big orange. Like, it's massive. It's like a novelty big orange. So it really sticks out. But the thing is, it's in a weird part of town right beside the racetrack. And it's a famous spot. Like, let's just say that people have been whacked in this parking lot before, okay? Like, people don't like meeting people. Like, somebody tells you, meet me at the Orange Julep. Like, you want to do it earlier in the day. You know? So, buddy tells me, fucking, meet me at the fucking Orange Julep. And I'm like, God, this is starting out great. Of all places, yeah, the Orange Julep. Fuck, I know what this means. Like I said, the Orange Julep's in front of the fucking racetrack, and the Orange Julep is known as like a fucking meeting spot, right? So I'm like, fuck. I didn't want to go alone, right? I had a buddy of mine. He's like, you're fucking nuts. I'm not going with you. Fuck. I'm not going anywhere near you because you're crazy. And he even told me, he goes, you got a lot of balls fucking trying to go and collect $7,800 from these guys right now. And I'm like, I fucking won. Fuck. I said, hey, I won. They owe me. So I fucking go, man. It was like a Friday night. I had to meet the guy at like 8:30 at night. It was kind of dark and shit. Fuck. It was right out of a movie. He pulls up and shit. Gets out. And it was the bad guy that showed up, not the nice guy. Fuck. And he starts bitching at me. He goes, you know, I never liked you. And you're not going to, I can't make this part up. I can't make this part up. The guy's name was Guido. The guy's name was Guido. And the partner was Luigi. So Luigi was the bad cop. Guido was the good cop. Guido was a good guy. You're gone. Bye-bye, Bobby Brown. So yeah, Luigi was the meaner guy. Guido was a nicer guy. So yeah, they owed me like $7,800. He paid me like $1,800. He paid me, I think it was $1,800. It might have been $2,000. No, it wasn't an even number though. It was a weird number. He gave me like $1,963 fucking dollars. And he told me, he goes, I never liked you. I never trusted you. Guido likes you. And he goes, I'm not paying you $7,800 fucking dollars. And he goes, I know you're full of shit. And he goes, you fucking, and he told me, he goes, I bet you fucking drove to fucking Ottawa just to fucking call me. He saw right through me, fuck. You know what I mean? He's like, I don't like you. And you know what? It was actually like $3,200 he gave me. He gave me $3,200. Fuck. He gave me an envelope and he goes, this is what you get. And he gave me half the money. Fuck. He goes, Guido's willing to pay. He goes, I'm not paying you. And he goes, if you have a fucking problem with it, you know, he basically goes, you got a problem with that? He was right in my face. I was like, no, I don't have a problem with it. I'm a fucking kid. I fucking took the envelope. And right across the street, fuck, all right? Right across the street from the Orange Julep, there's a fucking strip club. It's still there. It's called the Door, Le Coin d'Or, the Gold Corner. And I remember I took the fucking money and I went to the strip club and I was shaking and shit. I was like, wow. I was like, fuck, I can't live like this. I was like, fucking, I remember drinking shots in this strip club with a big envelope of money. And there's my Fresno State Jerry Tarkanian story. You know, it's funny too, because Bobby Brown's bitching about sports. I don't know. I thought talking about betting fucking $20,000 on a college basketball game was sports talk, Bobby Brown, but you're a fuckface, and I'll remember to ban you in the future. I didn't kick him out earlier. I just saw him now. So, yeah, with that, we'll leave you with it. Other than that, you're on your own. Hey, support the Sportsbook Review Sportsbooks. Go over to sportsbookreview.com. Log on to their sportsbooks and support them so you get great stories, great picks. We gave you winners tonight, too. I gave you San Francisco. I gave you the second half over. I got more bookie stories, too. That's just one of them. But tomorrow night, we got another long show tomorrow night, Big Man on Campus, and we will get into some more serious college football pick talk tomorrow night. Other than that, you're on your own. May the winners be yours. Later.